Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tombs of Scoria.
Hello.
Hi.
Where did we leave our party last time?
I think we were leaving a cave because a creepy old lady was trying to eat our arms.
Yeah, I think we are on the peak of a mountain somewhere with Shine discussing the morality of sacrificing an innocent baby to what essentially seems to be an evil demon.
Yeah, you've traveled half half an ocean away to the Arcadian Isle of Bravo, which has been lost from the rest of Arcadia for a long time now. You've sought out an ageless, timeless creature, might be human, might be elf, might be other planar, who knows what she really is, who resides halfway up a mountain that's 20,000 feet tall or something like that, 18,000 feet tall, in a cave with nothing but a crack and vapors, who seems to exist without food or water or company or companionship, far away from everything else. A creature of overwhelming evil and power, who sits and smells the vapors and sees the future and knows things unnatural. She has confirmed to you that Anton lives somewhere, and as you've been asking for more answers, she's hungry. She's very hungry. And she wanted a sample of someone's arm. And right before he handed his arm over to her to who knows what, Tyrael stopped Imric and asked if there was another price to pay. And the other price was a small child, preferably a baby, fresh and innocent, so delicious. And as the party's getting ready to go find this child, Shine has begged you, pleaded with you, not to sacrifice this someone else's innocent babe plucked from their mother's arms to this monstrously evil creature. I think she said something to the effect of like, this is no ordinary feasting, it's not simply eating the child.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Shine, what do you know of this creature? What is it? Ancient evil? Is it a god? A demon?
I have no idea. But you can feel it too, the the evil rolling off of her in waves.
It's uneasy. Worse than Scoria, perhaps.
What would you have us do, Shane?
Turn back. Go back to home. Leave Anton for dead.
You think we can face Scoria without him? I'm not so
Yes.
sure.
So is that what we are then? Are we disposable weapons to be used and tossed aside? The kingdom no longer needs us? One, two, or three of us die in our mission to defeat Scoria? Is that just a cost that we accept?
Well, we did always know that was a realistic possibility from the start.
A realistic possibility, sure, that one of us could be killed. I didn't know it was a realistic possibility that we'd abandon one of us for death. I think it's markedly different.
I agree. It'd feel different if we knew he was dead. To leave him out there, lost for who knows how long, could be eternal torture.
He can end his life whenever he wants, can't he?
Can he? What do you know of where he is? We don't know where
She
he is.
knows nothing.
The
She doesn't
rules.
even know what dimension she is.
I know as much as you do. He may live forever there, he may die shortly, he may be dead already, and she could be lying. He
She
may
could
end
be
his
lying.
life after a few minutes. We know nothing. We're taking this creature's word.
We're taking a risk to get our brother back. The other path that you suggested, there's no chance to get him back, so it seems like even a risky path is preferable to that one.
What about the other costs? What about the costs to your home, your souls, your country?
What's the cost to our country if we die, if we fail?
She looks away.
Enslavement. There's no easy choice here, Tyrell. if we go with this baby, who knows? You know, there will be no easy answer here. Whatever this creature is, it'll take a cost from us one way or another. We won't walk out of this the same. Maybe physically whole, but not really whole.
I don't see there being any alternative. I don't think either of us can afford to give up limb, no?
Perhaps I can't lose an arm, but I can fly, maybe a leg.
You want to hobble around for the rest of your life? Do you think that'd be wise? You go to fight Scoria and she manages to cast a spell on you, and you're moving around her cave like a cripple in the middle of a fight?
I know. You're right. But preferable to if it means we get Anton back. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna shake my head. Like, there's no easy answer.
Well,
We've
Shine,
got
what do
three
you know
choices
of...
And they're all bad.
What do you know of regrowing limbs? Is it doable? Has it ever been done before?
There are some spells out there that existed once upon a time, back when the gods resurrected people and there were powerful clerics walking the lands. Spells that could regenerate limbs. Holy spells. There are wish spells can do such things too. It's not impossible. I don't know if there are clerics around today that could do such things. But also, I don't know if a limb eaten by this creature could ever be regrown.
Maybe it would grow back worse.
This is not an ordinary thing we see here.
I know it didn't even attempt to defend itself or question us. You know, two fighters such as us and a gold dragon, you'd think it would be on the defense. It didn't even seem to concern it.
Seems a tad otherworldly. I don't think I can put into words the aura that this thing was emitting when I looked at it, my ring of seeing. Never had something light up evil so brightly in front of me before my entire life.
What does it really want with a baby?
I don't know, its soul? You tell me, you're the wizard.
Could be doing maybe to cast some sort of dark magics.
Surely you're not asking the rogue.
Well, I'm saying though, like, you know, beyond the initial loss of the life, there could be more consequence.
If we're to believe what Shine says here, the loss of life is probably the least of consequence to the child we bring.
Yeah. We could find an orphan, a child without mothers. Maybe someone expected to live a short and painful life. It's probably the best way to do it, but even then, the implications could be terrible.
Well, we decided neither of us can afford to lose limb. If that's so, then the next part of this discussion is to find a child. To figure out what kind of child we'd like to find.
Shine, if we go through with this, what happens to you? Does our deal survive an act like this?
Of course our deal survives.
I swore that I would serve the McGarry family for generations. I honor my oaths. She doesn't make eye contact while she says that, though.
Is Shine... I still have the ring. When I look at Shine, does she emit a good aura?
Oh, absolutely. Unquestionably.
If you give up a limb... I don't think I would ever command you to do such a thing. But theoretically, if you gave up a limb, would you be able to utilize your dragon form to its fullest? Or would that be missing transformation?
I fully expect a limb lost in human form would be the same as one lost in my natural form. I don't think any parlor tricks will get us out of this.
You're going to outlive all of us. You probably have access to more people, more wisdom, and more spells. We'll probably come across in our entire lifetimes, even as lucky as we have been on our journey so far. Perhaps I offer you a deal. Were you willing to sacrifice a leg or an arm? What if we cut down your servitude to, say, 50 or 60 years instead of the lifetime you've promised us?
She looks to her arms. Is that something you would ask me to do?
If you think, just curious what your thoughts are on it. Again, I don't think I'd ever command you to do something like this, but...
The period of time for which I serve your family is not... how do you say? I may live to be 1,000 years old. The generations that I will serve your family will bring me to my elder ages. That is a price I am very willing to pay. Spending the rest of my life free of my commitments to you, but maimed in form, is not impossible.
But
I
not
wouldn't
preferable.
I wouldn't do it to shorten my oath. I intend to honor my oath. Reducing that time means nothing to me.
I understand. Well, any other ideas? Emmerich? Not sure if there's a way to think ourselves out of this one.
I think Shine's right. I don't think we'll be able to trick it. I don't know what it is.
Of course, we're not going to
It's
be tricking it, yeah.
So, the deal is on the table. One of us gives up a limb, we find it a baby, or we leave Anton for dead. There are options. I think Tyrell... I don't know. Over the years that we've been doing this, since we've set out adventuring, I've always tried to play a foil to Anton to guide you in the right direction where I can. Encourage you to do the right thing, but this decision's hardest that we've ever had to face, and I can't tell you what to do. You're the leader of our family, the leader of the empire to come, and it has to be your decision. Whatever you choose, I'll go with it. If that means my leg, then so be it.
Suppose it's a child we must find then.
I look at Sean and then look away.
Her eyes are closed. She breathes a heavy sigh before opening them, moving to the edge of whatever cliff you're standing on, and taking dragon form once more, slowly stretching out her arms that become wings, her legs mutate into her hind legs, new arms spring forth. Soon she is a large gold dragon.
Where do we go?
Craning her head back around to you, there are people here. There are some towns, villages, and wild people amongst the jungle. They're not hard to find if you know where to look. Probably best we find one of the small villages. No need to entangle ourselves in the happenings of the cities here.
Indeed. Sounds as good a plan as any. I'll start to climb on. Are you ready, Emmerich?
Yes. I'll climb up.
Shine will soar over the jungles nearby, flying sort of around like this, looking for telltale signs of human habitation. She'll spot a little bit of smoke rising through the jungle, and and come soaring over, looking for a place to land. Not really finding one. The canopy's so thick here that it's hard for her in dragon form to really get down in and amongst the trees. She will end up landing in this bamboo hex right over here. Much easier. She can just crash down the bamboo with her weight. Not a problem. Taking human form again, the whole party can venture to the east, spending half a day tromping through the jungle. There are monsters here. Some of them are scary, but they don't really threaten the brothers McGarry. So,
Yeah.
Hours later, having fought large natural creatures, strange troll-like monsters, you find yourself near a small entrance to a cave, maybe 6 feet across and 12 feet tall, sort of like, teardrop shaped, with a fence across it, a spiked fence, wrapped with vines, edges, carved with stone weapons probably. And there is a human face peering over the top of it, looking down through the jungle at the party approaching. Right out front of this little cave is a stream that comes from deeper within. The smoke rolls out of the top of that narrow teardrop-shaped cave entrance, sort of rolling up and then out into the air. There's a small door. You'd have to hunch to get through it. It's tied shut with more vine rope here. That pair of eyes, the watchman looking over, sees you, and their eyes are wide. Big as saucers wide.
Mm-hmm.
Our brothers are wearing dragon scale.
Yeah, we showed up with a big-ass dragon, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Whatever this is duly impressed.
Can I call out and speak? Do they understand any of the 3 common languages I speak?
They don't seem to respond to any of your languages, but when you do call out to them, well, I shouldn't say they don't respond. They don't seem to understand, but when you call out to them, they do disappear within the cave, shouting in a language you don't understand.
I look over to Emmerich and I ask him, do you have any spells that allow you to communicate with these people, or no?
No. Well, let me check my scrolls.
As you pull up your bag and start looking at your scrolls, remembering what you've brought with you, the little hatch swings open, and pouring out are maybe 30, 35-ish people. Some of them have stone weapons, but they don't seem to be coming at you aggressively. They're coming out in wonder to gaze upon you. At the very back of the group is an old woman, the oldest one of the people here before you. And she sort of hobbles to the front, walking on a stick, coming down the slight slope of the hill, walking alongside the stream, the group following behind her. Do you keep fumbling during this, Emmerich, or do you stop?
Yeah, I'm looking through my scrolls.
Yeah.
I'll reach over to, or I'll speak over to Shine. I'll try again to call out in my 3 languages. I think Dracissian, Mystrian, and not Eridonian. Oh, it is Eridonian, Dracissian, and Mystrian. Does the elder in the back respond?
I've got a as well, but I doubt they speak that.
No, they don't speak any of those languages. But they come down, and the woman raises up both of her arms, including the one her staff is holding, and shouts something. And the whole lot of 30, 35 people drop to their knees and kowtow before you. The old woman drops down to one knee, resting heavily on her staff, bowing her head.
I ask Shine, what languages do you know? Can you speak to the people on this island?
She shakes her head. I don't know the words they speak. It's new to me. Give me a week or so and I can learn it.
Any spells to communicate with them?
She looks to Emmerich.
Oh. Although, my glasses do allow someone to read all writings, so I could write something down and then give my glasses to the old woman.
Oh, that's a really good question. Would the glasses allow you to read if you don't know how to read?
No, they're...
It says
maybe.
read and comprehend all writings, but not the topic.
Like, what if you gave the glasses to a 2-year-old that couldn't read yet? Would they suddenly be imbued with the power of reading?
Right, a 2-year-old would not be able to read. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you've got to be able to read. But she can probably read, she's old.
Possibly.
I don't think age is the thing that imparts literacy.
Just looking through my
Just looking
rings
for
to see if we have
shiny
any
souls.
creative ways of communicating. We used the dragon weapons before.
That's true. Yeah, that was good. That was a good way of doing it.
Shine does not have any spells that will help you communicate with them.
This isn't going to be easy, even if we could talk to them.
Well, they're savages. I'm sure we could offer them gold and they'd throw us a child, right? I'm sure half their children died during childbirth anyway. What?
Speaking of children, of these 35, about a quarter of them are quite young, are children, and there is one woman here, one mother here, holding a child, like a baby.
Oh, perfect.
Not like a brand newborn, but maybe like an 8-month or
I point it
13-month
out
old.
to Tyrell and say, there. Perhaps for gold.
I will, Fuck. Can we go back an hour? I should have shown up with a plate mail of command on, actually, but no, fuck it, it's fine. I'll point to the
Rod
child.
of Splendor.
You have the what? Oh, fuck it.
The Rod of Splendor.
I'll point to the child. And I will point in front of me. To the child, and I'll point at the ground in front of me.
I mean, everyone's like bowing their heads down to you. No one's looking at you right now. You are being worshipped at this point.
Oh, the woman isn't?
All of them, yeah. Even though the old woman, she's on one knee because her knees are really bad. But everyone has their heads bowed down in subservience and honor.
Since they're all bowing to Tyrell, I suppose, I will start to walk slowly into the crowd.
Yeah, as you walk amongst them, they will look up at you. And eyes are reverent, gazing upon this illustrious man with fancy clothing, wonderful sandals, these impressive rods and staffs, and you're compared to these people who are wearing reed skirts and like rotting hides. You must be like a god to them.
Yeah, I walk up in front of the woman with the baby.
Breathless, excited, she lifts up her newborn, her not newborn, but her baby to you, in an offering of, please bless my child.
I say a few random magical words and go to take the baby.
The old woman gives out that same word again, and everyone together begins chanting this phrase or this word over and over again. They look so happy to be blessed by your presence.
Let me see, what can I cast a spell for them to cheer them up?
Why? They're happy. They don't need cheering up.
Fucking ice.
Their child is being donated to the glory of the fucking dragon gods right now.
We'll just cloud kill them so we don't have to feel bad.
Oh yeah, is that how that works?
Yeah.
I want to
I start to
remove.
walk backwards slowly with the baby.
I'm gonna remove from my pouch two.
Woman gets to her feet, but a person nearby like holds her hand and keeps her from following after you, not wanting to, scare off the gods.
I want to withdraw from my pouch 2 gems. These are valuable gems worth 50 gold pieces each. 50 gold. These are tremendously amazing looking gems.
So fucked, dude.
And I will walk forward and I will place these 2 gems in the hand of the woman who is now babyless.
Wait.
What?
She
No,
she takes the gems in your hands but tries to look around you to watch Imric. There's like this hope in her eyes that is slowly fading as Imric gets further away.
Oh wait, I was gonna cast
These
some
people have
spells
gold
on
and
the
shit.
baby
Don't tell me it's
points.
worthless. I'm sure they trade gold. Everybody trades gold. They gotta have some kind of thing. But okay. I nod and I turn around with a little bit of a not pep in my step, but kind of jogging to the dragon. I say it's time to go, Emmerich.
The chanting begins to falter and fade as you walk away.
Just walked up and took the baby.
It's time to go. I'm on the dragon. Is Emmerich on the dragon?
Well, you got to walk back to the bamboo. It's going to be a couple hours until you can take flight again. As the whole party begins to leave, the woman begins to call out and breaks free of the person who's holding her and comes chasing after you alone.
Excuse me. Doesn't she have some very nice gems right now to be looking at?
It seems like she handed them off to someone else because she's coming at you empty-handed.
Interesting.
She's talking at you in some primitive language. She's looking at Imric and asking something or begging something or praising you somehow. You're not sure what she's saying, but she seems very emphatic.
I nod at her. And take it, like,
She
you know,
stops.
gulp a little bit. I hand the baby to Shine. She's in human form, right? Or is she in dragon form?
She's in human form, yeah.
I hand her the baby.
The woman sighs.
I
Sigh of relief.
I put a hand on her shoulder. And
And wait, what are you doing? You're about to do some dumb shit.
no, I'm not. I kiss her on the forehead, and then I say the same magical words that I said before, and then I as if like to spin her back around and push her back towards the group.
She stumbles a few steps and turns and looks over her shoulder, aghast, as the three members of the party walk away with her child.
We can't
When you
even
get about
explain to her. Yeah.
a few hundred feet away, you can hear like this wail and shriek of despair pierce the jungle. It slowly fades as you walk away, soon getting lost in the sound of the rain as the storms that come every day beat down. It's loud with the storms and the lightning. Too loud to have conversation as you make your way back to the bamboo, so Shine can take dragon form and fly you away.
I step back a little bit from the group after maybe like half an hour of walking. Okay, I'm gonna stop, and I pull out the bottle of the vapors that I took from the mountain. And I'm gonna try and inhale them and look to see the future of what happens if we sacrifice this baby to this thing.
It's not the future that you see, though. The future you see is the woman whose child you've taken. She sits on a nice tall chair in the very back of the cave with all the other people in the village bowing down to her and praising her and worshiping her. And yet she seems lost in thought and distantly focused. The old woman stands beside her with a hand on her shoulder and a staff also in the chanting and worshiping. Clearly, the villagers here are honoring her for her sacrifice. And she's
done more than she can ever know.
She's just lost.
Okay, I content myself with that somewhat. I'll catch back up with the group. Pocketing the empty vial. I'm gonna get some more of that. And some good shit.
Alright. Baby in hand, you make it back to the bamboo forest. It's dark now, but you can use magical light to guide your way. You don't want to sleep out here in the jungle. You want, to get back to your sheltered place. So eventually you make it back on Dragon Wing. It'll be difficult to hold on to the baby, but you can do it. You can hug it tight to you, or give it to Tyrael, who's in front, and you can hug Tyrael so that way he's in the proper saddle position. Whichever case it is, before you go, Shine will ask, do you go to Atropos this night, or do you go to a sheltered place and bring the babe in the morning? The babe who is crying in your arms.
We just go to Atropos now.
I think we should just do it now before we have time to reconsider.
Yeah. The squeals of the child are lost in the winds as Shine flies back to the mountain. Imric, you got another one of those polymorph spells so they can easily get to her little cave?
No. So maybe we'll have to wait another night then. I can cast
A
fly
spider
on
climb
myself.
spell?
Yeah, I've got a spider climb and I've got a fly spell, so between that we can probably make it work.
Yeah, between that, you could have Tyrael jump off Shine just onto the mountain, and you could fly yourself down there, and Shine can just wait somewhere else for you.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
All right. Our party returns to Atropos's lair.
I
High
guess
up
I
on the
carry
mountain.
the baby since I'm flying down with it.
Mm-hmm.
When we land, I wait. I probably get there before Tyrael since he's climbing down. I stare into the darkness of the cave. Do I see Atropos? She can probably hear the baby crying already.
Mm-hmm.
I look up at the mountain, waiting for Tyrael. I try and calm the baby. Shh. Shh, it's okay. It's going to be fine.
I haven't smelled something like that in so long. Bring it here. Bring it here.
You must wait for Tyrael.
I'm so hungry. Please, just a nibble. Just let me snack on some fingers while we wait.
You'll wait until we're ready.
You're such a tease, Imric. And soon Tyrael finds his way into the cave.
When he gets there, I say, Tyrael, I can't do it. Can you? You have to be the one. I say, and offer him the baby.
I grab the baby. I carry it in.
I look a few steps behind.
She starts to giggle and bounce slightly in excitement. Still seated at the back of the cave near the vapors that rise up before her.
Speak to the
Like
lady. Will an arm or leg do?
No, I want the whole thing. I'm not content with just a nibble.
You can tell us where Anton is, but can you bring him back?
She licks her lips, and like a stoner preparing to eat a delicious meal, she puts her head over the vapors and inhales deeply one last time and reaches out her hands blindly in front of her, not seeing, reaching for the baby.
I'll hand her the baby.
She takes it and devours it quickly.
Oh God,
Her mouth opens like a snake's, too large for a normal person. Her teeth, which seemed sort of normal and falling apart, all of a sudden seem unduly sharp. One bite for one leg, one bite for another. Mid-torso with the third, the fourth bite swallows all but the hands, and she takes the time to nibble on the fingers as she speaks to you the rest of the time.
Neil, you need to look at yourself in the mirror.
Scrumptious. Now I can focus on my thoughts. She takes another quick sniff of the vapors. Yes, yes. The plains, Anton. All the plains are interconnected. Some are closer to others. Some rest between each other. Anton is somewhere he can breathe. He must be at least sort of near the plane of air if he can breathe. Yes. But travel between planes is difficult. The spells are complicated. Attuning your magic to each particular plane requires the right catalyst, the right conduit. In order to travel between the planes, the magical vibes must be just right, else you find yourself lost far. If you want to find where Anton is, you will need to travel the plains and find which ones he is closest to. There is a spell I can teach you, Imric McGarry. A spell you can attune to Anton himself, and it will tell you on which plane you are, how close Anton is to you, how far removed he is from you. And as you walk from plane to plane, casting this spell, you'll find, hopefully, the confluence of planes he is closest to. A wizard like you, spells at your disposal, libraries of knowledge, spell components. You surely can find the right catalyst. Once you find the planes he is closest to, that will bring you to him.
How do you teach me this spell?
I'll need part of you inside of me, one way or another. she says and licks her lips.
I look at Tyrell. I take a step forward. What part?
Her unseeing eyes sort of like gaze down and up as if looking you up, but she's not looking at you. She's like off centered somehow, but she's still going through that mechanical response of like, you know, objectifying you.
What's the name of the spell?
Spells like these need not names, although you can call it whatever you wish. I'm still quite hungry. You could give me your arm if you don't wish to spend the night.
I step forward. This is nonsense. We fed you an entire human child.
I told you how to find him.
You said you'd tell us where he was.
Well,
I did.
and how to get to him. We're not here to feed you villages of children. We think you've rewarded you quite a bit.
I look back at Tyrell, and well, I walk up to him, and I say, "We've already sacrificed a lot. Perhaps I should just go through with it."
To lose a
Leave it here in
limb?
the morning. No, I'll spend the night with it.
Spend the night with what?
With her?
Sure, but you're not going to lose a limb to this creature, are you?
No, I think she wants something else.
As long as you feel like you'll be safe.
Well, I'm not sure I'll be safe ever again after this.
Me and my companion here can rest at the front of this cave, yes?
You could join us. I can't teach you the spell, but I can show you things.
And you sweeten the deal. Once we find our brother, we have to kill the great red dragon Scoria. Perhaps you could impart some more magical knowledge with me. At least make this... At least make this act worth it.
One deal at a time, Imric.
Okay, I'll take a seat at the wall in the cave, rest, watch, and learn.
Alright. I cast Advanced Illusion to play Barry White. I take my robes off. Let's get it on.
Wait, did I miss
Why don't we
that much?
take our
So-
first break right here?
We'll be back. Be careful.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tombs of Scoria. Imric
Alright.
takes
You
his
see
robes
Imric.
off. Go
Yeah.
ahead, please.
So, you know, he looks to the entrance to the cave and sees Tyrell and Shine looking away. Looks back to Atropos, who's probably licking her lips and looking at him. Looks down at the ground. Remembers the last time he saw Shelley on the balcony in her castle. Sharing a moment, you know, a glass of wine, some grapes, looking over the sea. And he puts that thought to the back of his mind. Resigned to a life of being alone. And slowly, like, takes off his robes of greater, what are they called? Greater robes
Greater
of shielding or
protection.
something. Yeah, robes of greater protection. Neatly folds them up on the ground, takes his sandals off, puts them there too. Takes his glasses off, puts them on the sandals, you know, closes them, puts one in between the sandals, takes his like backpack folding off, obviously. So he's got nothing. Lays his bow next to them. And,
But your rings, right? You still wear your rings and your amulet?
Yeah, I guess so. Just in case. Yeah. And I will look back up at the thing and walk towards it.
Mm-hmm. Those robes were robes of protection from evil, weren't they?
Yeah, so probably can't be wearing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what does protection from evil do in 2E?
Stops them
Prevents-
touching me.
Touching you and life draining and soul draining and all the sorts of things that you really, really want to have right now.
Gotcha. I was gonna say we have scrolls of protection on Mabel, but if she's not gonna be able to touch you, maybe it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
I
well,
think she wants to touch me.
she wants to touch you. She is hungry, and her hunger is for flesh in all its forms. It is a long, hard night. Every time you
Right.
feel like you've had your fill, the flesh is strong. As weak as your will might be, your flesh remains strong. And the woman must be blessed by Reluna herself, goddess of passion, for her appetite is insatiable. Tyrael, there are cries coming from the back of this darkened cave after the sun goes down that will send chills through your bones for the rest of your life. This monster of a woman back here has lost herself in these actions. Her long hair, you can't quite see it, but every time Imric opens his eyes, he can sort of notice that this like hideous, haggard, naked woman straddling him with these like long, sharp fingernails seems to sort of be flickering around. You know, when you normally see her with her smile, it's like a half-toothy grin, but every now and then you catch a glimpse of these like long, sharp teeth, and this hair sort of like moves of its own accord in unnatural ways. The like length of sagging flesh and wrinkles will... It doesn't matter. But it's an all-night event.
What's the
You are
experience like for Imric? It's-
Uyghur.
Yeah.
But you
Well, hold on.
Terrific.
He should roll a con check at least.
can
I'll
roll
roll.
as many
I'll roll.
con checks as you want, but there are magics here that are affecting your
Perception.
flesh, but not your mind and not your...
okay.
Okay,
your-
fine. A con check and a
will.
wisdom check. We hear you.
No, I mean, Imric's resigned himself to it.
Okay.
If only... should have had a drink beforehand, but I didn't have any on me. That would have been in
Yeah.
character.
You know, when you do like a lot of crunches or something and your abs get so sore that you really can't move yourself? Well, you find yourself, upon your back, exhausted. That same fatigue of like you really can't move anymore. You've hit that runner's wall and there's nowhere you to go, and yet this hideous creature, and I don't mean physically, I mean like spiritually and morally hideous creature, will take every last ounce of energy you have, leave you exhausted in a sweating pile of your own and her filth and mess. Everything that you have held sacred or looked forward to has been horrified and putrefied. Every position, every act, every deed. It is terrible.
I guess, pass out at the end of it.
That would be a relief. And yet, through this sharing of spirits, through this most intimate and vulnerable act where you really give your entire self up to another person, you feel the pieces of a spell coming together in your mind that will allow you to track someone, or at least notice how far they are, how many planes removed they are from you. And by the end of the night, by the time maybe half an hour after dawn breaks, she's greedy. She pushes things too far. You
Yeah.
feel like you could memorize this spell and cast it. It's 3rd level.
Joke's on me, because I'm maxed out on 3rd level spells.
You get an extra 1.
Wow.
You can call it whatever you want. It will attune you specifically to Anton and tell you how far he is from you.
Plain.
You will need a component that is something that was Anton. A single hair of his would be fine.
Is it only for Anton this? It can't be used for other...
Actually, I take it back. It is only for Anton, which means you don't need any components. You don't need any bits of him.
This spell
to cast
only
it.
works on Anton.
This is, yeah. But you know enough about wizardry and magic that you could recreate the spell at 3rd level for any other single person, or you could recreate the spell at a higher level in a way that would allow you to track anyone for whom you have a component of. There would be research involved, but you can do other things with this.
Okay, well, in the morning, I think, Imric's lying on his back, barely able to move, looking at the thing. She finally seems sated.
She hops off you, goes back to her spot.
Will crawl backwards a little bit away from her to his pile of things and quickly put on his robes of greater protection, hoping that they still work, and slowly gather his things. And for the first time, look over to Tyrell and Shine.
Shine is not present for this. She couldn't make her way into the cave, if you recall.
Right.
It's just you and your brother who witnessed the whole thing. There was no sleeping tonight.
I mean, I wasn't staring the whole time. Jesus.
Of course not. It was dark. You probably couldn't even see, but you could hear the shrill, horrible cries coming from within.
I think I just, gather my things and walk back over to the entrance of the cave to Tyrell and don't say anything. And I cast. Do I feel like I've relearned my spells? Since
No, absolutely not. You're completely exhausted.
Oh, fuck.
In fact, I think probably all of your spells are wiped from your mind at this point. This isn't just a physical exhaustion. This woman has imparted something into you, and she has used up your energy in many ways. There's no way like the fast way to learn spells.
I've got no spells. Do you think Shine will know to make her own way back? Let's get out of here. I say, clutching the amulet.
I mean, I shake my head and I say, well, we need to at least communicate with her first, yeah?
You can message her when I've rested.
How far away is she from the cave entrance?
I can't get out of here without magic.
No, but I could at least crawl down and tell her, yeah?
I don't know where she is, but
I mean,
don't leave me here.
Well, if I peer out, do I see her anywhere immediately nearby, or how far away is...
Yeah, she's crawled maybe 50 feet down, clinging to the wall, her dragon neck craning up, not wanting to get too close, but close enough that she can pop in if there's some sort of emergency.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can I kind of whisper down to her, Shine?
You can hear her claws digging into the mountain as she comes up.
As she's climbing back up, I say to Tyrell, can you fly back? Let me go. Let me use the amulet.
Wait.
How are you going to get back home?
Wait.
How are you going to get back home?
I'll go to the giant cave.
Yeah, but from there, how are you going to get home?
I'll sleep. I'll relearn spells. I'll meet you back at the capital.
What if something happens to you in the
But
cave?
don't you want to be able to travel the plains?
Wait.
Plains are difficult places to cross. They're inhospitable to life. Don't you need protection? Don't you need our planar manipulator?
I look to Imric. We will be able to travel these plains, yes?
I'm sure there's a way. Find a portal or something.
Yes, there are so many portals, and they're so easy to hop from one plane to the other. You'll certainly be able to find him within a year. I'm sure of it.
What would you suggest, Hag?
I have a
for
tool.
For a pound.
It'll allow you to travel any plane you wish. Travel to any plane you wish, but once. Bringing you home will end the effect. You and all you carry and touch will come with you. It makes it easy to hop from plane to plane. Best at the points where they're weakest. If you find yourself at a portal, you could simply step from one to the other. You find yourself anywhere. It's a doozy.
How do we learn such a spell? What do you need from us to teach?
It's no spell, it's an item.
What would you trade for this item?
That child was delicious. But you know what's better? Better than a 1-year-old savage baby from beneath my mountain? Maybe even too good to eat. Maybe I would just keep it as a pet. The firstborn child of a newly minted king.
Good.
Can I'm wearing a ring of free action and a ring of seeing. Can I activate my ring of seeing again? Does this person have any magical items on them? Can I see anything?
Yes, she does have a few magical items on her. She is wearing, I think, an amulet and a ring. The moderately powerful. I mean, you have to look at her for a little while because she is so overwhelmingly, she projects such an evil aura that it sort of obscures the things that she's wearing. But she's got an amulet and a ring on that are magical. Like, moderately. Not strong enough to be something that transports you through planes.
It could be stored in extra dimensional space. I probably shouldn't try to kill this person.
It's too late for that. If we were going to do that, we should have already done it.
Well, no, because we killed him earlier. It's not like you're going to learn the spell, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound, if she wants another night.
She doesn't want another night. Did you hear it? She wants the firstborn of a royal family.
Yeah, but you asked what you could trade for him.
That sounds like what she wants to trade. She doesn't want another night. She wants a...
But you haven't had your kid yet.
That's right.
What do you mean?
Well, you'd have to have a child first, right? She's asking for your firstborn.
Is she asking for mine?
I will
or-
let you defer your payment until the time comes. But the time will come, Tyrael McGarry. And I want it.
Don't do this, Cyril. We'll find another way.
Yes, there's always another way, isn't there?
Is there anything else I could give you? Or have you had your lot of me?
You could give me some of your toes. Those would be delicious. But they won't get you the means to travel the plains.
We'll consider your offer, but I think we're done here for now.
Well, that is a pity. I'm sure, very sure, I will see you again. There's no way you'll find him without me.
Guess we'll see, huh? Okay.
As you turn back to face Imric, your ring of true seeing is still active.
Yeah?
And you see Imric, and his flesh is rotting. There's a stench about him that you didn't recognize a moment ago. There's like a cavity in his chest where his like still beating blackened heart shows through. You can see that he is decayed, that he has been like used by some sort of demonic force. He is not the same Imric that you once saw.
I'll look at him. And I will say, as I remove my ring of seeing, let me go shout at Shine. I'll have her start flying back. We can teleport back to the cave together. When I remove my ring of seeing, does he appear normal again?
Oh, he seems totally normal, and the smell quickly fades away.
Okay.
And you're wondering, like, maybe this is just like a trick that she's playing on you. Maybe this is just...
No, I don't think so.
Because
I
he's
think
totally
that,
normal.
I think that something has changed, but I'll shout out over Shine and I'll say, Shine, are you safe to fly back?
Yes, she is.
I'll put my arm on Imric's shoulders. I'll say, do you feel okay?
Considering. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
And I activate the amulet.
And the three of you are gone.
And two of you. Oh, Shine's flying, I think. It's
No,
just
she
two of
is.
us.
Oh, right. The two of you are gone.
Wait, can we not just hop out of the cave and have her touch the amulet with us? Is there a reason why we can't do this?
I think there's a capacity. Why do you not travel with Shine? Via amulet?
She can't land in the cave, right? There's no limit in terms of people. From my understanding, it's if enough people hold hands, we could all go.
Yeah, can
That's
I just
fine.
like lower you from the cave?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we could just all three teleport back together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She can just careen her head into the cave, and you can grab her
Okay.
by the ear or something. Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll teleport back to the cave easily with the easiest mission we've done yet.
Yeah. Back
Good
in the
shine.
cave, abandoned by
Um,
giants now. Mm-hmm.
Tyrell, maybe you should fly back to the capital. I'd like some time on my own.
Of course. Do you need anything, or is there anything I can help you with?
No, I'm fine. Ask Shine about plane travel. Her friend Hydroxys, the Mist Dragon. I heard that perhaps it had an item that could allow travel between planes.
Are you able to tell me what plane is Anton on right now? Are you able to cast that spell, or?
She said somewhere near the plane of air. I'd say that's where we should start.
Someplace near the plane of air. Can we at least fly you back to our keep, or what do we call it?
Shine will pipe in because you were talking about her and Hydroxys, and she says to you that there's no way Hydroxys will give up anything.
Perhaps not to let us use it?
No.
Why not?
Why would she?
We gave up the dragon slaying weapons.
She's not going to give you her magic items. She's not going to give you her staff.
We could borrow it, no? Maybe there's something. Don't you dragons trade? It seems like we've gone through enough dragon layers at this point to see that you guys are willing to trade off your magical items for gold and other things.
I made a pact with you to serve you in exchange. Hydroxys came to kill you.
Of course.
She is no friend of yours, even after you've given them up.
And there's nothing she would trade for any of her plane walking items?
I can't speak to know her every mind, but I would be baffled if she assisted us in any way, shape, or form.
Shine, do you know a portal to the plane of air?
No. Well,
Do you know
you
someone who
open
might?
minor gateways. Those are technically portals to the plane of air.
Yeah, I was thinking that's a way through. We'd have to push past the wind, but I suppose that's
That
doable.
might be...
Push past the wind. That's super easy, right? Ring of free action. Don't we just walk?
Yeah. We'll experiment with it. I need some time to
But what
relearn my
about
spells.
the other planes might be inhospitable? If you have to travel to the plane of fire?
Well, from what I've heard so far, my understanding is it sounds as those planes that are proximate to other planes are going to resemble them in features. So a plane that's near the plane of fire is going to be a fiery plane. A plane near the plane of air is going to be an airy plane. So I imagine there's probably some mapping of how to get from one plane to the next. Maybe Arc Somber will know a shortcut or a pathway or something that doesn't have us walking through a plane of fire first, perhaps? Or do you know something of this?
I think with this spell, if we go to the plane of air, we can at least determine a direction to travel.
Yeah,
If he was on the plane of fire, he'd already be dead.
true. Well, we know that he's in some plane that's proximate to the plane of air, yeah?
Yeah.
So,
At least we'll be making progress there. But, Shine, what do you know of the properties of time on the plane of air in the elemental planes? Keep hearing the words of that elven seer in my head. That perhaps we look for Anton amongst the elemental planes and come back, having lost decades.
Only on the prime material planes does time travel at the same rate. On all other planes, things are different. Each plane is made up of others before it, and they all act in different ways. Only on these three material planes will things be easy and straightforward and predictable time-wise.
How bad are we talking here? If we spend a week on the plane of air, could it be decades? Or is it unknowable?
I don't think it would be decades, but it's not definable. There's not a formula that I am aware of that describes the difference in time passage. There may be it may be routinely predictable, but that knowledge has never been mapped out.
We need to be careful about that, Tyrell. The elves are wise.
Yeah, of course. But we have nothing to do right now except for, I guess you need to rest. We'll fly back to the capital. I'll start asking
I'll
Arc
see you
Somber.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. I give Cyril a hug, and we'll walk deeper into the caves, like to be alone.
We're gonna take a rare flash forward for you, Imric. Some point later in your life, and the details of this might shift a little bit, but at some point in the future, you will find yourself in a somewhat intimate setting with another person.
Yeah.
You used to visit plenty of brothels back in the day when you were a layabout drunk, right?
Well, I don't think brothels so much as, he was able to get girls. I don't think they were necessarily paid encounters.
Okay.
Maybe once or twice,
Sure, yeah. What sort of future prospects does Imric have in this setting?
I honestly think that Imric's not looking past Scoria at this point.
Yeah.
Fully prepared that we may just all die. And beyond that, I mean, I think if he's lucky to live through it, then that's something to think about then. Because right now, I think he thinks there's, a 90% chance that he'll probably die.
Jesus, 90%.
Yeah.
Well,
and,
we're going to take a look at one of these distant futures where you're in a cozy room surrounded by riches and splendor, sitting in soft leather sheets. Not sheets, soft leather seats. It's comfortable. It's cozy. It's dimly lit. There's cigar smoke in the air. You've got a glass in one hand. And there is some woman sort of sitting on your lap, her arm round your neck. You've been talking for some time. There's been flirting happening. Is this some other noble lady that now that Scoria's done has come to wed Imric McGarry, brother of King
probably someone
King
from
Tyrael?
the Mistraean, some Mistraean noble in an attempt to, help things.
Yeah, maybe it's the first of the Mistraean nobles who are coming in this new vacuum of power, trying to secure the family line.
Yeah.
She speaks soft words in a sweet accent to you. There's music flowing in from the next room over. It's rich and decadent. The food tonight was lovely.
You think Imric's like maybe looking past her, staring at maybe a burnished mirror that's on a table, like a dressing table just beyond, and he can see himself in the mirror, but the gal on his lap's maybe replaced with Atropos, and he looks back away from the mirror, sees her, she still looks the same, but haunted by that memory. Maybe this is the first time he's even approached an intimate encounter since. And as it gets closer and closer to being a reality, probably harder and harder to push it from his mind.
Yeah, she senses your sort of trepidation and pulls back a little bit and cocks her head to the side and says, "What is it, Imric? Is everything okay? Surely
Yeah.
your thoughts aren't with the war. That's long over now. Now is the time for peace and celebration."
You're right, of course. It's just, I'm troubled by the things I've seen, that's all. Perhaps I need another drink. And I'll, stand up and push her off me.
She gets up and kind of puts a hand on your chest and says, "Sit down. Let me get you a drink." And will sort of slowly bop her way over to the cupboard and take her time to pour a drink using all the appropriate angles to her advantage.
Yeah.
Taking her time to walk back, sort of, swishing her dress as she goes, teasing you by holding the drink just out of reach, bringing it all the way to her face, putting it in your hand as she brings her face close to yours, nuzzling her forehead against yours.
Yeah, I think he probably takes the drink. Maybe embraces her, but takes the drink and then sort of is drinking the wine over her shoulder. Lets the glass fall to the cup fall to the floor, taking one more glance in the mirror before maybe standing up off the chair, picking her up and turning away from the mirror I guess, and walking towards the bed, unsure of how it's going to go down. But prepared to do his best.
She picks up a cigarette from the ashtray, takes a few drags as she walks over to the bedside, putting it out as she leans in for a deep and sensual kiss, which ends with her pushing you away and screaming, scrambling across the floor backwards towards the door, shouting, "Away! You! What are you? Get away!" And then sort of looking about, seeing you as you are. What was that? What was that?
What did you see?
What is that smell, Imric? What's that smell? She gets up, hurries out the door, leaving it open behind her. The musicians standing outside stop. One of them kind of looks in and grabs the door and quickly shuts it.
I think he probably just goes back to the desk and pours himself another drink. Sits back in the chair, looking in the mirror.
What do you see in the mirror, Imric?
I don't know. Maybe I just see the, like, rather than seeing his reflection, he maybe just sees like a view back into that cave. Sees Atropos at the end of the thing, standing amongst the vapors. And yeah, I don't know. I think Imric's probably taken back to drinking in the face of the war being over and all of this trauma that's happened to him, and it's probably quite a sad tale, really.
Was it worth it, Imric? Was it worth it to get Anton back?
Is Anton back in this scenario?
Well, that's not really important.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he is, then I think if Scoria is dead, and Anton
in this
helped,
scenario, Scoria is dead,
and hopefully Anton helped kill it, then I think it's probably worth it for him.
So with a cup in your hand in your chair, thinking that this is fine.
It's fine.
This is worth the price.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Back in the cave, in the present moment, what are you doing? Just resting?
No, I think he probably finds a little spot in one of the caves, tries to find somewhere cozy, and probably like curls up into a ball and maybe like, cries, and sort of tries to just work through the trauma of what's happened until eventually falling asleep and then waking up in the morning and relearning spells.
Yeah.
And I think he's thinking of that moment, like I was talking about before, on the balcony with Shelley. That's probably the last time that he'll ever feel like that again. In a romantic way, happy. Yeah.
Well, it'll take you practically all day to learn your spells, I'm assuming, since there are so very many spell levels to replace. Tyrael and Shine will have taken the sky exit from this cave and, I think, flown back home? Back to your castle or back to the capital?
Probably. When do we get back? Ideally, I want to go to the capital because I want to talk to Arxhammer about traveling plans.
Morning.
Then, yeah.
Yeah. Back to the capital it is. Big, bustling city, Wicthron Marenta, the place that you are here to protect and defend from Scoria. This is the land that you are to save. And here you are, in the midst of it, in its capital, its innocent civilians going about their lives, fully confident that the brothers McGarry will save them from this fiery fate that awaits them. These people are under your protection, and you are the only one that can protect them from the fires of the dragon. Does that have any more significance to you now than before, or has that always been here?
No, it has even less significance now.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I think that when Tyrael started this adventure 70-odd episodes ago, I think that the feeling was one of resentment towards the kingdom and towards life in general. His father wasn't a very good figure, so he had to spend time with his uncle, pick up things from his uncle, His family was essentially robbed of the throne because his mother, while well-meaning and well-intentioned, was maybe a bit lazy or not ambitious enough to take on that role. And so for a long time, he'd been kind of resigned to just being part of a lower, shitty noble family. And then I think it felt like an opportunity presented itself to where there would be some redemption of that family name. So I think as the journey has kind of gone on, it's felt like there has been kind of this rise to prominence of the McGarry family. They finally started to get some of the respect the other noble families. They've accrued not even a small fortune, but a fortune that maybe even rivals that of the capital at this point. They have a keep being built. They have untold magical items. They have direct communication with the royal family. They've now seen and experienced things more than any other person. But I think that while maybe even a few months ago, Tyrell had this idea that his family was finally rising to prominence, it started to seem like, especially over the past couple of months, they've started to trade away parts of their humanity in an attempt to essentially serve the kingdom to destroy Scoria. And I think as that process has gone on, now he kind of looks around him and he sees one brother has already been lost to Velthara. He was never happy about it, but especially, I imagine we've heard tales of the ceremony with his wife and everything. Tyrael's never directly confronted his brother on it, but it's a tad disappointing to see him heading down such a dark and mysterious route, further reinforced by his brother's seemingly horrible relationship with every cleric in the city. Now he's seen the true version of what's left of Imric after selling his soul to save said brother. He has a dragon that's constantly edging him on to forget one of his siblings completely. And now he comes back to a capital that didn't even seem that invested in saving Anton in the first place. So now it kind of feels like he's back at stage one of just the resentment that there's something inescapable about the stench of the McGarry bloodline, or something that's gone on, that's gone awry, that has basically rendered them as just kind of tools to the capital once more. And it feels like he's back at episode 1 mentally.
So when the people of the town come and, bow down to you in the streets as you're walking around, or throw flowers at your feet, or, heap praises and winning words upon you, is that like just salt in the wounds? Or
yeah, because what are these people though? They don't know any of the things we've been through. They don't know any of the sacrifices that we've made. They don't know anything. The praise is meaningless at this point, because it feels like in an attempt to build up and establish the McGarry family name, we've traded away so many different parts of our humanity to build up the name. So at the end of the day, what does it mean?
So their conditional flip-floppy love for you is no like...
Yeah, the day after Scoria falls, none of these people will care, and they'll just be back to business as usual, is what it feels like. Well, he's not even sure. There's even some self-doubt in terms of like how much have they even accomplished on their own. They're essentially wearing items covered with the soil of the dead that they've stolen and pilfered from. They've now sacrificed children and other sacrifices in order to get to where they are. They've done insane dealings with all sorts of different magical creatures where it feels like parts of their soul have been traded away every single time they've made different agreements. They've scammed people from across the entire world at this point. I think we permanently lose one of the items that we owe those Akuban monks? I don't remember. Or we haven't made any effort. So it feels like at the end of the day, there's that inescapability of like the roguish background from Tyrael, that at the end of the day, it's all just the same shit, basically, yeah. Except for a while, he fooled himself into thinking it was something bigger than that.
But at least you're going to get your brother back.
Yeah, well, no. I think the body will come back, but again, that trading away of pieces of our soul feels like we've kind of been losing ourselves for a while now. That's what it feels like.
But not you. You haven't lost any of your soul, have you?
I think so, because Tyrael's body doesn't matter that much. He, as the older brother, his body was the bodies of his two younger brothers. And now both of them are essentially, at least their souls are in ruin. So the whole goal of protecting and serving the family and furthering it seems to be a bit for nothing at this point. That's what it feels like.
This is a low point for Tyrael, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you make your way through the city to the keep to speak to... Who is it? Arxamber?
Arxamber to go travel a plane and find what's left of his
Yeah.
brother, who ran in first to fight
imagine-
the dragon. Why did that even happen? Was Tyrael too slow? Despite his cloak of the cheetah, despite his boots of springing and striding, despite his natural agility, somehow his brother was the one to run in first to fight the dragon. A lot of failure on on this.
Yeah. I think, and let me know if I'm dictating your character's actions wrong a little bit here, but I think you are a little tired of waiting for the guards to admit you entry into this
Yeah, I was
room
actually going
and
to say
that
when I
room.
came back, I would just start marching through. Like, let me speak to them. And they're like, oh, they'll be with you in 20 minutes. I think I would just let myself in or start moving through the castle, getting irritated. Because I'm also getting increasingly frustrated as we gain more access to things around the world. It feels as though the capital and the people here are becoming less relevant and less equipped. And I think Tyrael's starting to look down after having so many experiences on some of these people. Like even Arxamber, who 30 or 40 or 50 episodes would have seemed like such a wise and intelligent character, seems to be beneath Tyrael now in some extent, compared to the experiences we've had and the other types of people that we've talked to. Like we just came back from a demigod that breathes in the vapors of the earth about plane walking, and now I'm going back to visit Arxamber, some woman who's going to pour through books and books and books, who seems to have a competence that barely is the head of Clertus's, to figure out what she's learned locked up in her little tower for the past however many decades she's been here. Just, it's not a good feeling. And then the queen is going to be a constant stifle to everything because she's more concerned with running the kingdom than doing anything to help us. She's taken items from us. She has, sent us on busy work missions. They displayed an unbelievable amount of incompetence the second that we leave to go and procure some important item. The kingdom falls into ruin and we come back and we have to fix everything again. And it's just...
Yeah. Well, you soon find yourself at the outside of Arxamber's door. You've pushed your way past other doors. Trailing behind you are a couple of men-at-arms who are saying, My Lord Tyrael, please wait. Lord Tyrael, slow down. You get to Arxamber's door. It is magically locked. Only she and those she has deemed worthy may open it from the outside. What do you do?
I will give it a knock.
The door cracks open a little bit, and her apprentice pokes their head out and says, Excuse me, Arxamber. Oh, Lord Tyrael, I did not hear you announced.
Need to speak with Arxamber immediately. It's an emergency. Time is of the essence.
She's in the middle of preparing an identification spell right now. It'll take her the whole day.
What are you doing?
I was helping her, and part of that is answering the door so she's not disrupted.
How long have you been working in this tower that you can't create a simple identify spell?
I am just an apprentice, my lord. Arxamber is the true power in the kingdom.
Can I speak to Arxamber, please? It'll only take a few minutes of time.
It's an all-day spell to cast.
My request doesn't change. I need to speak with Arxamber. You can do the spell tomorrow. I'm sure whatever it is can wait.
Just one moment, and she shuts the door, and then you can hear the of her feet as she hurries up the tower to some other floor where Arxamber's doing these things. And a few minutes pass. The guards have caught up to you now, and they're just sort of awkwardly standing by you, not sure what they're supposed to do. They were supposed to announce you and prepare everything, and now they're just, escorting you, I suppose. Arxamber comes to the door and opens it with a furrow on her face. Tyrael, is everything okay? Well, what is so urgent?
Can I step in for a moment? Can we talk?
Of course. And she opens the door and shoos the guards off and tells the assistant to go upstairs and finish the preparations for the spell.
Questions about moving from plane to plane. Do you have any information about this, or do you have books that I can give to somebody who can read information about this? What do you know of this?
Yes, I have some books that talk broadly about the subjects. She settles into her chair and rings her bell for her assistant to bring you guys some tea and motions for you to sit down. Gets ready for a nice long chat. There are a great many theories on plane moving.
I'll kind of wave it off with my hand and I'll remain standing. I don't care for the explanation. I don't need the explanation, and I can't do anything with the explanation. My question is that if we can locate Anton on a plane that is close to the elemental plane of air, can you point us in a way to get to that elemental plane?
Me personally, no, I don't have any planar travel spells. No.
Do we have any capable wizards in this country that are capable of doing such a thing, or that would have those spells?
That are capable of... No. Maybe Imric.
Do you have the books necessary to learn of these magics?
I have enough books that with time I could perhaps research such spells. I don't know what they are or how long they would take, but the research can be done.
Does he need extra materials? Does he need to do the research here? Or can we do it at our house?
You could do it at your house, I suppose, if I lent you the... I feel uncomfortable lending out all my books. He could do it here with me. We could maybe work on them together.
He's had a bit of a tussle recently, and I don't know if he is healthy enough to leave the house. If I could collect some of these books, I'll bring them back to you in a fortnight, or however long it takes for him to learn these spells. You have my assurances.
Oh, well, it would take much longer than that, I'm sure. These spells would take... I don't really know for certain. I've never done it myself, but, a few months at least.
Months to learn these spells?
They have to be created from scratch. It takes time, effort, components. I don't even know if the books I have are complete enough to do this. Libraries are a complicated thing. But I'm sure there are books out there that would give us the information we need. Maybe the Mistraians might have some. The Akubans are renowned for their magic tracking spells. Maybe...
If we were to search for somebody who would be able to cast these types of planar magics, where would we find them?
The assistant shows up with some tea. She takes a sip. Would you please sit down? Let's see. By the time... Wizards capable of traveling between planes rarely settle down. They do not reside in kingdoms. They are entities of their own, usually. There might be some in Solemn. Rumors have it that there is an ancient tower that used to belong to a grand wizard of orders that rests in a city within Solemn. And Dark, there may be a wizard there who might know something about plane walking. But with the war with the armies of Arasi, I don't know if that wizard exists still, or if I know that city's been captured. Let's see. We should go ask Clertus. Maybe he's more of the academic on these subjects. Planar travel's not my specialty.
You know where Clertus can be found at right now?
I'll summon a guard to find him for us. She goes to the door and calls for one of the guards who's standing by and tells them to fetch Clertus as quickly as possible.
I'll walk up to the bookshelf and just start reading off random titles.
Some books have titles written in the common tongue, and those are on the first 3 shelves. And then once you hit shelf 4, they start being in arcane runes, words that you would need a read magic spell to be able to even decipher the text written.
Okay.
The ones on the lower shelves are nice research books and history books and, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, Clertus arrives, huffing and puffing, so excited to be called and still sort of jittering and, fumbling over his own words. Lord Tyrael, it's been so long since I've seen you last. It's a real pleasure. I hear you've killed Zorthis too. My, are we soon going to get her head as well to don our great castle walls?
I think her head is rotting in the bottom of a lake that we created in her lair. Who cares of dragon heads? Only dragon head we should care about is Scoria. I'm here to ask you about planar magics. Do you know any way to travel from plane to plane, or know of a person that could do such a thing?
Maybe Arksomber would have answers for you there. Arksomber shakes her head and does and closes. In my research of great and powerful wizards in the history of Arcadia, there were some. There was one who was said to leave to travel the plains, but they didn't come back. The theory is that they found new riches and time travels differently, and uh, um,
I shake my head and I hold my head again. I don't care about any of this. I'm just asking you if you know somebody that can help us get there. If you don't, that's fine. I'll go search elsewhere. But I'd rather not waste my time here listening to fairy tales and gossip and possibilities and people that might be in continents that might have shifted or disappeared. If you don't know, I'll go search somewhere else.
Clertus visibly shrinks before you. I'm so sorry, Lord Tyrael. I don't know anything about this now. Perhaps if you give me a few days to search through my books, maybe I could find something then? I'm very busy with other things for the Queen, though.
What other things could take priority over this? What is more precedence than finding my brother? Or perhaps you guys have found another way to slay Scoria at this point? Maybe me and Imra could retreat to a brothel and just party for a couple weeks? If you guys have found another way to do this, I'd rather not waste my time.
Lord Tyrael, please. There are many irons in the fire, but you're the only hope we have of slaying Scoria, the only real hope.
Well, if that's the case, then I hope that you can find time to do some reading and research and come up with an answer for me within 2 or 3 nights, please.
Yes, of course, Lord Tyrael. I will talk to the Queen immediately about this. Yes, of course. I should go talk to her now, and he edges closer to the door.
Okay. I'll look back to Arxamber and say, I suppose if that's it, I might send Imric here. Worst case scenario, and he can begin researching those spells. Hopefully it's not truly months of time. I don't know if we have that much time, but otherwise I suppose I'll be off.
Tyrael, Lord Tyrael. Magical research is a slow process, and you need to get everything just right. If you hurry it, the results may be catastrophic.
I think we have a disconnect between the lived experiences of you in this tower and me and my 2 brothers on the battlefield.
If you have a disconnect, it is only because people like me have spent so much time acquiring the knowledge necessary for your brother to learn his spells smoothly and easily. Magical research is a difficult and expensive task. You cannot just benefit from it and then claim that the research process should go more quickly. That's not how it works. Magic is not easy. It is hard. It takes lots of work.
What is it worth at the end if my brother dies because we're taking too much time? Maybe I'm too influenced by the things I've heard my father speak of generals on the field, but I remember what we were always taught growing up. I believe the saying was, a good plan, violently executed now, is better than a perfect plan weeks or months from now. So I'll take my chances elsewhere if it's going to take you months to do this research, but I'll send Imric up if we can't find any other leads. Unless you have anything relevant to tell me, though, I'll take my leave.
I think you should better had.
I'll leave. I'll go home and I think I'll chill for a day and wait and see if Imric shows up or comes back.
It'll take, a full day for Imric to learn his spells and make his way home.
Yeah.
Unless it matters particularly which spells you use to get home, Imric, we can just say you get home the next day.
I think I just teleport back. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I can.
Yeah.
I make sure to, I don't know, make sure I don't look too fucking depressed. Maybe I stop back in at the keep first. To tidy myself up and make sure that I'm putting on a brave face. I don't want Tyrael to be distracted by worrying about Imric.
Yeah, while you're in your room, putting on your brave face and you're looking in the mirror, you can see these dark circles under your eyes. You notice your skin just it's one of these things that's probably in your own head when you're nervous about your appearance, you're gonna be on some big stage with cameras on you and everything, and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, ooh, I got you're all of a sudden aware of all of your imperfections and everything seems just heavy on you.
Yeah, but I know that spell, right?
You know that spell.
Indeed.
And you learned it overnight. Guaranteed 100% chance.
Without even having to make a roll.
Yeah. The only way to learn spells.
I will, once I resign myself to that I feel like I'm presentable, I'll teleport back to our house.
There you are.
I teleport back to my room. And I put a smile on my face and open the door and shout to the first servant, have you seen my brother, Tyrael? Is he around?
Upstairs in
yes,
my
Lord
room,
Imric.
being moody.
He's upstairs in his room. He's waiting for you, actually.
Good. I shall go and see him. Thank you. Could you bring me some food? I'm starved.
Of course.
I give a
She
nod.
pauses for a moment and looks around and shakes her head and walks off.
I said, wait.
Yes, Lord?
Could you get me some wine as well?
Of
I'll
course.
wait here. I wait for her to bring me it.
Yeah. A couple of minutes pass, and she brings you a bottle of your favorite wine and a pair of glasses.
I put it in my bag of holding. I give her the glasses back.
Oh, well, of course. And she
then
hurries
I head
off.
back upstairs. Cyril! I'm back.
Sitting in a chair next to my window, staring out to the courtyard. 9 magical rings on my finger. 9 magical rings on my finger. The ring of seeing is sitting on my desk next to me. I don't want to wear it right now. I'll look over to Imric as he comes in, and I'll say, "How are you feeling, brother?"
I'm alright. Yeah. I'm okay, considering. We need to get to work.
Indeed. I've asked around a bit at the capital. To no surprise, they have no answers for us, yet again. Arxomber says she's got books for you to learn planar magics, but it might take you months to learn those spells. Claritas was a bumbling fool, like always. He said he'll do some digging. Maybe in 2 nights he'll have an answer for us. I don't have high hopes for him. I don't know if you have
to
anything
research
else.
a spell.
Yeah?
I mean, literally, it will take months. And even then, it could take longer than that. That's a very, very last resort. I've got 2 other paths. Number 1 is we use the gateway spell. Open a gate to the plane of air, have Arxombar hold it open for us. I'll take flying spells, and we go through and see.
Who can cast the gateway spell?
I can cast the gateway spell. Arxombar can hold it, and then we can go through.
And you're
With shine
confident
if we
that you
have
can
to.
gate us to the correct plane?
I can gate us to the plane of air. From there, we can try and track Anton and see how close he is. I think that's where we should start, at least.
What is the plane of air?
Well, there's the prime material plane. That's where we are now. There's 3 of those. First one had dragons. Second one has demons. Third one, that's us. I think around each of the prime material planes, there are sort of demi planes and elemental planes. So there's fire, earth, water. All that water that we flooded into Zarathus's lair, that came from the plane of water.
Sure,
They
but I'm
border each
asking,
other.
if we go to this plane of air, what is it? Do we just fall infinitely into a pit of wind, or what?
As I understand it, there's just, wind, and we can use this spell to at least find a direction. We fly in one direction. We've got a dragon, so that's going to help us.
Once we get to
Hopefully
this
shine.
plane, how do we move to the next?
I think it's a case of walking, or traveling. I think
You can
there
walk
are-
from one plane to the other?
As I understand it, yeah. Maybe walking is a bit too, specific. With travel.
Well, if that's all there is to it, then perhaps we go... this is probably the next day, right? I talked to Arxomber yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Yeah,
then we
so
go
that's
up to the
fine.
tower and we talk to Arxomber and we ask if she needs to hold this gateway open for us. How long?
Should just be a moment for us to pass through it. It'll come with, there'll be strong winds, but... Neil, we would know, does the Ring of Free Action allow us to walk through strong winds?
When you were bringing all that water through the portal, you stood under the waterfall with the Ring of Free Action without being bothered.
Yeah.
So
In
it
theory, this
should work unless there's some funky stuff going on the plane of air or like at the exact moment of the portal. But unless there's some weird catch, it should be totally fine.
We'll need to find Shine as well. We'll need her. That's going to be the easiest way for us to travel through the plane. The second option is this book, and I'll produce the Alcaster spell book from my bag of holding, and I flick through the pages. I say, don't touch it, it'll hurt you. I'm immune to it now. I flick the pages to the final page, and I point at this rune. I say, this rune allows planar travel. I've not used it, but it's random. The closer to the prime material plane, the more likely you are to go there. But in theory, you could arrive anywhere. Now, that could be very detrimental to our health. But I suspect that wherever we would go, Shine would survive. So if we were to hide within her mouth, perhaps in a bag of holding, and she held us, she could activate the rune time and time again until we found. a
How many
spot close
times?
to
I
our
mean,
home.
if I'm to understand it correctly, there are an infinite number of planes. We could be
Yeah.
stuck in there for days, weeks, months.
Definitely not an ideal path. I think we try the gateway first, travel to the plane of air. At least then we know where we are.
Sure, but then
Try
how
and
do we get
orient
back
ourselves.
again?
Well, we could do some we could do some tests. You know, the amulet. Maybe it works across planes. If Anton were here, I could maybe have him cast etherealness on us and then test the amulet, see if it worked. Maybe one of the other clerics here could do that. If the amulet works to bring us home, then that's a nice safety gap for us.
Perhaps, but perhaps the amulet would only work in a closer plane. If I'm to understand it, some planes are far more distant than others. Who's to say that if we get back from the ethereal plane, we get back from a plane much farther away?
I think on it. I wonder if my gateway spell could be manipulated to bring us a gateway to the prime material plane. Should be, in theory, easier to access here than there.
Well, I'm of no use to you in this conversation. Let's go talk about this in front of Arc Somber. Maybe she'll have a way to do this. Yeah?
Yeah. Do we... Wait, someone's just messaged me. We never actually got one of those fork things, did we, from the other campaigns? No, we don't have one.
No. Why would you?
Yeah.
You don't even know that they exist.
Yeah.
Fork
sorry.
things.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Also, just real quick. Are you wearing a... When you wear glasses, does that occupy your helmet slot?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, I think
Wait, when you magical glasses occupy your helmet slot,
Yeah.
normal glasses don't necessarily. If you have like a crown of something, you can still wear regular
Yeah,
things
gotcha,
on your
understand.
face. Yeah.
have we come across any magical facial helmet gear ever? Besides, we've got the crown for Anton and we've got the glasses for Imric. Is that it so far?
Yeah, I think that is it.
You don't wear like a helmet for like +1 AC or something, right?
Ooh.
What?
Ooh. Well,
I mean, I think
that's one of those things we
technically
don't look at because as Nick is about to say, technically all your armor includes a helmet set, but a helmet set is just like thematically awkward for you to be like, I have my helmet on. They can't see my face. And so we ignore the fact that you're wearing a helmet.
Yeah,
for your
that's
armor
fine.
all
So
the
you just have a
time.
helmet slot for a magical item, basically, not for like a...
Oh,
okay.
the hat of disguise, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm only curious because I noticed my helmet slot is empty, so if we ever come across any magical shit like that, that's like a thing I can do. But okay, that doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
and there's helms of telepathy. There are magical items for your head slots.
Gotcha. All right, to the castle for Arc Somber.
Yeah. You make your
Let's
way
go.
back to the castle for Arc Somber.
Interrupting
You get-
our identify spell again.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the next day, fuck them.
Yeah. Once again, the guards are pushed past. Imric, how do you feel about Tyrael just pushing his way past guards and opening doors without the proper, go wait in this lounge for me to tell you that someone's gonna come here and all of that?
I think Imric, his initial feeling is like, oh, you can't do that, but he intrinsically understands why he's doing it and understands the frustration and feels it as well, and so just kind of goes with it. But his initial moment is like, oh, you can't do that, that's wrong, but as it happens and plays out before him, just goes with it.
Yeah. Soon, once again,
Well, just to point out, Imric kind of made a decision with the baby to follow Tyrael's lead and stop pushing back. So, I think this is maybe another representation of that. Just, it is what it is now.
yeah.
So yeah, we
You
head to
make your
Oxford.
way all the way back to Arc Somber's door. The door that can only be opened by Arc Somber, the magically enchanted door.
I'm a higher level than her. I think I open the door.
Can you...
Right, yeah, wizard
Well,
lock. If you
are
higher
you
level, can
4
open
or
it.
more levels higher than Arc Somber? What is your wizard level?
13?
It should be 4
That is 4 or more levels higher, yes. This door, only Arc Somber can open. And you... Do you knock, Imric?
Yeah, I think I do. I knock on the door.
A few moments later, the pitter-patter of feet, the servant, assistant, apprentice opens the door. Oh, Lord McGarry's.
I'll open
we-
the door and I'll enter. We need to speak with Arc Somber
Excuse
again.
me, what, excuse me.
I
Tyr-
walk
what-
through him with 18 con and 17 strength. I'm bulging, okay?
The apprentice falls before you, or not falls, but falls out of the way and gets to the side. Arc Somber, the McGarrys are here to see you. The servant calls up through the tower. What? Comes the reply. God damn it! And then the pitter patter of feet as Arc Somber appears, looking surprised to see you already in her chambers.
I
Edward
call
McGarry,
out,
this is-
sorry to trouble you from the incredibly important, level 1 identify spell I think she's trying to craft a scroll for. I was merely here trying to save the life of my brother and perhaps the future of the kingdom. If you could spare us 5 minutes of your incredibly valuable time to take away from making scrolls. Is that okay?
I suppose.
I look to Emmerich
What?
and I say, yeah, go for it.
What my brother means to say, Alexander, is we need your help. Hopefully you can aid us. Our plan is to use the... I assume Tyrrell's spoke to you of what we're trying to do here. We know that Anton's somewhere near the plane of air. I have a way to detect how close he is once we get there. As I see it, the best way through to the plane of air is to use Minor Gateway and have another wizard hold it open for us, so Shine and the two of us can travel through.
With Rings of Reaction, that might just work. Yes, yes! That's clever.
Yeah, you know, this amulet, you identified it, right? The recall, I say, holding the recall amulet.
Uh-huh.
Do you think this would work across planes? If we get into trouble out there, you think this would bring us home?
No.
The Minor Gateway spell, do you think there's a way to... Right, obviously from here it can bring us to the 4 elemental planes. But do you think there's a way to manipulate the spell to bring us back to the prime material plane? Perhaps use an object that has great grounding here?
I don't think so.
components.
The 4 elemental planes are proto-planes. The spell Axis is a proto-plane, not a proper one such as this. You would need much more powerful spells, you know, at least... I think even getting to the ethereal plane, which is a proper plane, is the 6th circle of spells. So at least something like that, if not higher. Maybe 7th
So-
or 8th. I wish spells could get you anywhere, I would assume. That's 9th circle. I think a proper plane walking spell might be 7th or 8th circle.
Then, Tyrrell, we may have to use that book to get back. We'll have to hide with Shine and hope. It's the highest chance of bringing us home.
What book?
We have a book with a ruin. It's like
I'll
throwing
show
a
you
dice, I
somewhere.
guess. We have chances
It's
to come back
dangerous.
to the prime material plane. But it seems that this is out of your field of knowledge, so I don't know if we care to find her input on it.
Now,
Should we
all
begin?
magical things are things I should weigh in upon. That's always good to have an extra head around.
Well, perhaps
I'll
once
show
the
you,
war
I'll
is
show you.
over, we can donate it to her library and she can spend the next 5 years studying it. I think we need to move and
I'd
find
say-
Anton.
Well, we can leave. We can leave, Tyrrell. Let me show Aunt Sambar the book, just to be... doesn't hurt to have another pair of eyes. I'll cast their spellbook and I hold it closed. And I say, we found this in Babylon's tower. It's dangerous. It drains your energy to touch the pages, so I would advise using only your eyes. And I flick through it, and then I point to the rune on the last page and say, this allows plane travel, but it's random. But if you read these runes aloud while holding the book, you'll travel to a random plane, most likely to end up here. With the help of a dragon.
You're not
perhaps.
seriously going to travel to random planes unprepared. You'd die.
Well, we could hide with the dragon.
No, but what if you appear in the plane of fire? You'd be immolated instantly.
She wouldn't.
You would?
Not if we were within her mouth or in a bag of holding.
I want you to understand that what I'm suggesting is simply an example of how existence on another plane may kill you. There's no... if you hide in her mouth or in a bag of holding and you and Shine go to a place that she cannot survive, you all die. If you end up in the middle of a demonic army, you all get ripped to shreds. You may end up in, the deep Feywild and 100 years could pass. Traveling through planes at random? It's suicide.
Is a red dragon or is a golden dragon even capable of being hurt by fire?
No.
How many of these other planes have you even traveled to, Arc Somber? Have you been to a plane of fire before? Or a plane of air? Or even gazed upon another plane before? Have you even traveled to the ethereal plane? I appreciate
have
the advice,
studied.
but you've studied and we've been there. Perhaps let us take one more trip to the other planes to find our brother, if that's okay. Our dragon will be fine. We're more than capable of surviving the journey. If Anton survived a journey all the way out there, we ought to be able to survive a journey just to bring him back.
What if you end up on the plane of the dead?
What is that?
The plane of souls, the negative energy plane, the moon, the Falumbra. You may end up. That might literally just be death. If you go to the plane where people are when they are dead, there's no return from that. You can't randomly travel through the. Don't. Imric, you know this. You know that this is dangerous, right?
My understanding is we're traveling from this plane to the airplane. We're not going to be taking a detour and ending up in random planes on other...
To the airplane is fine, but she looks at... she almost taps the book, but stops at the last moment. But this random plane travel...
Well, do you have some other way for us to get back, then?
What about a dismissal spell? Do you think you could cast that on yourself? Force yourself to return back to your home plane?
Perhaps, but you'd need to cast it on everybody with you. And with you being the last, if it works.
Is it an individually targeted spell?
It is, as I understand it.
We've got it in a book somewhere. I remember reading it.
We were talking about dismissal spells when the demons were running amok in Eridon. I looked into it as a method of, pushing back armies, but it was single target. And so we didn't bother. Long casting time too, full minute.
You could
There's got to be another way.
Is there?
Well, you could construct portals and gateways to very specific planes. Again, it would take time. You'd probably need to wait until the war is over to do it properly.
I shake my head. Obviously, that's not an option. How long has Anton been on this other plane at this point? I look to Emmerich. Has it been like 3 or 4 or 5 days? How long has it been?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
We don't know if his magical items work in these other planes. We don't know if he's able to access his food and drink from his Cloak of Plenty. We have no idea. We might not have months to find him.
Tyrael, those things you said are all true. He might be dead already.
He's not dead. We
not
know
dead.
he's not dead.
Are you sure this is a path you want to go down? It sounds like you're willing to kill yourself to get your brother back, and it might not work.
It's possible we've already given more than that. We've made it this far. We're at the home stretch now. We know where he is. We know what we need to do to reach him. We just need one way to get back.
We need to find...
Wait, what do you mean you know how to reach him?
Just what I said.
You
We
can get him
figured
from
out
the
ways.
plane of air?
We know how to reach him.
We can find
do?
him once we're there. I have
How
a
do you
spell.
find him?
This
have a
isn't a
spell.
time for you to ask us questions. We've come to you for information. If you want us to share knowledge with you, I'm sure there'll be plenty of time for that after the war.
No need to be so testy, Tyrael. I'm on your side, remember.
I
We're
understand,
in
but
this
every hour
together.
that passes by is another hour that Anton might be being tortured in another plane, or he might be floating through or falling indefinitely through a hole that never ends, or I have no idea. I can't fathom waiting hours and hours and days and more doing nothing when we
She's
know where he
providing
is.
counsel. We'll
Feels
listen
like
to
she's
counsel.
providing doubt and uncertainty and fear.
Well, there's no fast and safe way to travel the planes. It can't be done. Not instantly, not like this, not without months of preparation, perhaps years of preparation to travel multiple planes safely and easily.
Imric,
There must
It's
be a portal
just
somewhere.
not doable.
the mirrors
Right.
that we saw in Glacia, could those be used to travel planes? Were those mirrors manipulatable? Could you...
That's what they were for. The magics were broken. Perhaps it could be fixed. That is what that thing was for, though. I read about it in some of their books.
Again,
Oxamba,
more
you
time.
were reading through those books,
Energy.
right? Did you read anything about this?
About plane travel?
The books we brought back from Glacia, they have some sort of instrument up there. A
You know,
series
Imric,
of
I've been
mirrors.
very busy. In case you haven't noticed, there's a war on. I haven't had time to page through those. It would take years to read them all.
I understand. I thought perhaps you'd have read them.
I asked
Only
Ark
I had the
Somber,
time.
if a large bag of holding was open within another bag of holding, what would the effect produced be?
No, that is suicide.
As I understand it, it's instant death. It's a resonance cascade that destroys everything within it. You create too much of an energy potential, and it rips apart everything in a 60-foot, 120-foot diameter. Only incredibly strong creatures would have a chance of being flung away instead of being outright ripped apart.
Where is Shine? She spoke about being able to travel to some of the elemental planes. Right? That's what she was doing. She was looking for Anton in some of the easily accessible planes.
I think Shine's waiting for you guys at your house. She's just chilling somewhere.
I cast Sending at her and ask her to come to the keep.
Shine will be here in an hour because she's going to go through all the normal protocols because she's a good girl.
So I will, talk to Alexander about this plan and try and maybe work out the percentage chance of returning to the prime material plane using this book.
Yeah. The two of you can sit and pore over the runes and look at them and talk about magic. It'll take a while. Shine will show up while you're in the middle of it. Tyrael, you've been talking about all needed haste, and you know there's one fast way of making this happen. And these people are standing over these books talking about the percent chance that you might come back to this plane. And every time someone says something, someone says, but look at the position of this, this foil on this rune. I don't think that, well, hold on, let's look up this book where there's similar runes here, and these words might command this thing. And, it's a long process. And Arksomber suggests casting an Identify spell, particularly on that rune. And Imric tells her that, that'll take a full day to do. And she's like, well, it's better
That's not
safe
the
than
worst
sorry.
idea. It's not
Yeah.
the worst idea. No, never mind.
And those words of Atropos come ringing back in your head.
Yeah.
I know you'll be back.
I'm
She's
actually
offering
standing
a safe
at a
way.
window, staring out again into whatever, if there are windows in here, contemplating
Mm-hmm.
the deal.
Yeah.
When Shine arrives, I'll say, Shine, it's good to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
We're discussing, well, the current plan is to use the Minor Gateway spell to open a portal to the plane of air. Hold it open. Alexander can hold it open, and the three of us travel through and use that spell to look for Anton. But we're wondering how to get back. You said you could travel to some of the elemental planes. Do you know a portal or a way to traverse them?
My homeworld has weaknesses between the walls of worlds, a few worlds. It's the first place made by the gods. I can get through my homeworld to the elemental plane of airs, the elemental planes of air, and back. But my homeworld is not particularly hospitable to your people.
Of course, we
The
wouldn't be.
strength of sunlight alone would burn your skin. It's
Still, though, we go to the plane of air, we find Anton. From there, you can get us back to one of the prime material planes, and from there we can get back home. It's uncomfortable, but it's an option.
She looks to your robes. Your robes should be fine. They're robes of greater protection. She starts glancing at the things that you're wearing. Your armor's dragon scale, that should be okay. The metallic weapons should be fine. She looks down at the boots and the cloaks, shakes her head. You should probably not bring your boots or cloaks with you. Maybe find some greaves or some plate mail to cover the rest of your skin with. It's doable if we tear it off most of anything that's not absolutely needed and protect us the rest of the way. It's doable.
What kind of things exist on the plane of air? Are we likely to run into battle there? Elementals, I assume.
With me, you should be okay. There are few things in this world as fearsome as a fully grown golden dragon, she says with a broad smile. Most creatures would leave us alone.
Tyrael, Perhaps Shine and I should go alone.
I shake my head and I look back. Go alone where? To find Anton?
Yeah. That way. If it doesn't work out, you're still here. And if the time effects are worse than we expect, there's still a McGarry here. If there's no battle to be had, then maybe, you know, the risks of you coming outweigh the rewards.
I turn to my side again and think for a moment.
I get close to him and I whisper to him. I say, whatever happens, Shine will survive. I've already lost a lot. Let me do this.
If you wish, if me going doesn't help us at all, then I suppose that's the decision we'll have to make.
Shine, what else would I need? I could wear my robes. My glasses would be fine, right? Lose the sandals.
I would... You're going to need to cast spells. Your robes should protect most of your flesh. Lose the sandals. We'll have to find a way for you to cover... Well, I guess you can afford to... You can afford some pain, right?
Of course, and if it's just heat, I can protect myself from that. Fire shield.
It's not heat. It's light.
Then I can... I'm sure I can find a way.
She
right?
shakes her head. She'll walk with you out of the castle as you guys are talking and leaving. She'll tell you, she'll advise you on the gear to have, the gear not to have, what to take. She'll talk about the plan. You'll arrive in the plane of air and you'll cast your spell to see how close you are to where Anton is.
Then we walk in a certain direction and we cast it again. And from there we try and extrapolate the direction.
She shakes her head. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
If we cast it like 3 times, we can find a direction, we can triangulate.
If that's how it works, let's do it.
Is that
we
how
can
it
go.
works? But I understand the spell, so is that how it works? Because she was a bit unclear when she was explaining it, but I assume at this point Imric understands it.
Yeah. Your understanding of this spell is that it will sort of tell you how many planes away Anton is from you. So if you're on the plane of air and he's on the prime materia plane, you would be like 1 plane away. You're feeling for the strength of Anton's presence. So Anton's presence would be like strong or overwhelming or something if you're on the plane of air and he's on the material plane. And if your theory about being able to move in a plane to get closer is right, then as you move through the plane of air, you might be closer to Anton or not closer to Anton. But if the plane of air is configured in such a way that, no matter where you are on the plane, he's always 1 or 2 planes away, then you wouldn't really get a triangulation.
But Atrapa said that he was on or near the plane of air, right? That he could breathe, so he has to be in or adjacent to. I mean, okay, if that's how it works, I can also cast the spell now to see how far he is from here.
Mm-hmm. You could cast it from here and get an idea for how many planes away Anton is.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll do that then.
We're going to use some categorizations. And they're not exactly numerically related. It's more like a strength feeling. So where you are now, you can dimly feel Anton's presence. It's dim. Sort of like when you're identifying magic and there's like faint, dim, weak, moderate, strong, overwhelming. There's all these descriptive terms. You can only dimly feel him in this place.
Okay, but can I quantify that? Like, do I feel like that's further away than the plane of air?
You would need to have... Your understanding is that the plane of air is probably quite strong. You're surrounded by air. This world is made up of the plane of air and the other planes. The plane of air should be quite strong right here. So...
Where else could he be then? Like, is there sort of secondary planes of air? Like, as it goes from, like, air to earth, is there, like, transitionary planes? whatever.
Yeah,
Shine now.
that's. You ask Shine these questions.
Yeah, well, I think this is a conversation with
Yeah.
Shine.
No. Let's see. It's a good metaphor for it. How close are you to your liver?
Well, it is me.
Yes, exactly. If you were in your liver, how far do you have to travel to get to you? It is you. It's part of you. So in the plane of air, you don't simply fly to the material plane. It's not like the sky is the plane of air. It is. It's difficult to talk about these high concepts.
Well, this spell.
But it is this space, and it is this space removed on a different plane.
Given your understanding, do you think you could use this spell to help us move in the right direction?
Which spell?
The spell I learnt.
I don't know how that spell works. If you tell me that it brings you close,
Gives
that
me an
Anton
idea
is in a direction.
No, it's not a direction. More like how many planes removed from where you currently are. Right now, I can feel him, but he's far.
Then if we go to the plane of air, we can see if he's closer. Yes.
And
But
then what
I
can
don't
we do
think-
with that information. Can we move? to
I
the next
listened to what Atropos was saying. She looks around to make sure no one else is listening in on this conversation.
Plane?
She talked about the ways that you focus spells to travel between planes and needing components to resonate.
Catalyst.
Yeah, a catalyst. Right. If the plane of air needs a catalyst that, for example, this is probably not the right catalyst, but is a sapphire, and the shadow plane needs a catalyst that is a cricket, and Anton is halfway between the plane of air and the plane of shadow, then the catalyst would be somewhere between a diamond and a cricket, and then you would just need, once you know the bordering planes, I'm sure you could find a catalyst that would be appropriate to get partway in. You know, if a diamond gets you here and a cricket gets you
These
here,
catalysts let you travel between the areas.
and
saying?
my understanding is the spells let you travel, but they need to be attuned to the right area, that the magical energies need to be focused into something that will open to the right place. It's you know,
But we don't have a spell to travel. We can't just walk, or fly, or travel from one to the other.
That's my understanding. Imric, I hate to say it, but maybe we should deal with the things here on this plane of existence.
Giving up too much, Sean. It's back out now. You never played
Gambler's
cards.
fallacy.
I'm pot committed.
Well then, there. I don't know how to help you. You want something that I don't know how to give you.
If we go to the plane of air, we cast the spell there. We see how it feels. Unlikely to be too much loss, right? We can get back safely enough.
Yeah.
Let's do that then. At least then we can observe the impact on time.
Do you have a way to get you to teleport from my prime material plane to here?
You had a portal, right? First time I met you, you came through one. I assume that's where it went.
She shakes her head. No, that was elsewhere on Solemn.
So how do you travel from one to the other?
We dragons have our ways. I've never taken a human with me.
Well,
I've never heard of a human taking these routes. I imagine if it doesn't work for you, you would just fall out of the sky and you would feather fall or teleport, or you have your ways of surviving an endless fall, I'm sure.
What, I'd fall back here?
Well, we need to fly very high in the sky to get to my home world. Very, very high. So yes, you would just fall as we slip between realms. I don't know if it would be a straight fall. We're dealing with uncharted territory, Imric. I don't have answers anymore for these questions.
Maybe
We've
we
reached
don't
the
need
edge.
it. If Foxombar can hold the gate open long enough for me to cast the spell, perhaps we can just walk back through.
That's true. If it's that fast and the portal can be, if you can hold it for that long.
It is faster. It's like the casting time of the spell. It's not like 10 minutes.
No, it's one round.
Okay. Right.
We'll need a way to brace you. No, you have a hold.
I can. Yeah.
Yes.
Free action.
Should be fine. Should be fine. We should just go in and out through the same portal. That's the fastest.
We can probably do it now. Let's go back to them.
Okay. You soon find yourself. I don't know, Tyrael. You wouldn't have stuck around to talk to Arksomber on your own, would you?
Not unless she
Probably
waved
not.
me down. No.
No. All right. So you'll find Tyrael very quickly. If you need Tyrael, or if you want to go straight to Arksomber, you can go straight to Arksomber.
Yeah, well, I got the material on the way.
All right. Party reunited. Back into the keep. Arksomber, surprised to see you so quickly.
Somba, do you have whole portal ready today?
I have a scroll.
Good. I go up to Tyrael and I take him aside and I say, "It's looking grim. I'm not sure. I think we need more magics to be able to travel from the plane of air to wherever Anton might be."
Well, once you get
maybe
to the plane of air, you can try to see how far away he is from there.
Yeah, but you know, maybe there's some way I could make the deal with Atropos.
No, we'll figure it out. Just go through the portal, see what you see. We'll measure the time difference, come back, then we'll plan from there.
Okay. I wait for Oxamba to get a scroll ready. Maybe we should do this in a room that doesn't have loads of books and stuff around, because it's obviously...
We should do this outside, she says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go outside then.
You'll need to leave the city so you don't fuck everything up.
Well,
we can find a safe place out in the woods. Not a problem.
All right. I look at Shine. I look at Tyrael. I look at Oxombar, and I grab my stick of chalk and draw a portal and open it to the plane of air.
Instantly, a huge gush of air rushes forth as Oxombar intones the last word on her scroll and reaches out and touches the portal, holding it open temporarily.
And you know,
Shine is in human form because the portal's not big enough to allow her dragon form through.
Yeah. I cast Fly on myself with the ring.
Okay. She grabs your hand and leads you through, both of you wearing rings of free action. Mm-hmm. And soon you find yourself on the plane of air.
What is it around me?
Air.
We'll find out when we come back from our break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tombs of Scoria. Imric, you are with Shine, and the two of you are suspended in a cloud. It is moist, it is damp, it is still, and there's not really much to see. It's just sort of mist before you in all directions. You can hear the sound of air blowing somewhere else, not here. And you can hear the distant roll of thunder if there's a storm somewhere else, but not here. You're just...
I look behind me. Can I still see the portal?
You do. You see the cloud sort of like being pulled into the portal.
Can I see them on the other side?
No.
Okay, what does it look like? Just shimmering?
Well, mostly you just see the moisture of your cloud being pulled in that direction, and yet you've gone through far enough that the area where you are seems to not be affected by the constant pull of air, which is a little bit odd because you'd expect it to pull from every direction equally, but you're in a still point, and yet, 15 feet over there at the edge of your vision, you can see the movement of the cloud.
Do I feel like I'm having to fly here, like I would be falling if I didn't have fly cast on me?
There's
Or
only
like,
one way to find out.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Okay, if I can't tell, then I can't tell. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I do what I came to do, which was to cast the spell to detect Anton.
Yes. He's not here. You can feel him more clearly. Instead of being dim, he's you can weakly feel him. It's stronger, but it's still weak. He's
Oh.
connected to this plane, but he's still a little bit removed.
But I feel like he's where Anton is to here is further than from here to the prime material plane. Like I don't feel like I've traveled halfway.
Correct.
All right, so,
You feel like you've traveled less than halfway.
I share this with Shine. I say he's closer, but he's still far. Maybe we're 30% of the way, 40% of the way. I don't know really what that means. We don't have much time to think about it.
Do you want to wait the full duration of the spell? Or... She looks back at the portal. If time is passing separately, should we go back as soon as possible so it doesn't slip?
Yeah, that's probably wise. Let's head back through. Now we'll float towards the portal.
Yeah. As when she stepped through, she took dragon form on the other side. And so she will let you go first, and then she'll kind of like do a swoop so she can go towards the portal and then shift and like kind of flop herself through in human form on the way.
Yeah.
So you will elegantly walk through the portal, and she will sort of like step and stumble and
fly
take
in.
a couple of human awkward gangling half shape shifted through the portal steps on the other side. And soon our party is back together in the woods outside of the capital in Drekis.
How long were we gone?
You should be able to
Minute or
tell.
two.
You look at the sun,
Yeah.
see if it like changed significantly. Yeah.
It's been like a minute or two. It's been no time at all.
So it feels like the time passed in the same way.
Yeah, but with you would have needed stopwatches to even notice the difference.
Tell, sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely closer there than he is here. But
Can
it's
you-
still not most of the way.
Are you able to continue traveling through, or
I look around. I look at Arksomber and then realize I can't speak openly. But I say, I understand there's some need for a catalyst. I think, based on my research, that there's more spells. We need specific spells to travel between the planes. That spell that Sombar was talking about, we could research it, but it would take months, and I'm not even sure I'd be able to cast it.
huh? Well, if that's it, then I suppose we're back to Bravo. Yeah.
I nod. I think so then. I guess.
Bravo. Arc Somber questions.
I'm sure you've got a book that you can read about it in your tower. And then I nod to Shine and I say, let's not waste time. Let's go.
As Tyrael climbs on Shine, I walk over to Arksombar and I sort of stand next to her and I'll say,
She's seated on a horse at this point.
okay,
Just to
well,
set the scene.
I come up to her
Yeah,
horse,
yeah.
I put my hand on its rump and I'll say, honestly, and I mean this, I know wizards are curious, but it's best you don't know.
What have you seen?
Maybe one day I'll tell you, but really, for your own sake, don't ask any more questions. I'll tell you what you need to know when we return.
She looks deeply into your eyes. You've changed a lot since when I first met you.
We've been through a lot. It'd change anyone. And then I, slap her horse.
It
Okay.
and starts to trot, and she kicks it in and takes off.
And I, walk back and get on the dragon.
Yeah, she's
We're off
fully
ice.
shifted into dragon form again, stretching her wings.
As we travel, we can talk. I
Yeah.
can talk to Tyrael. What's the plan here? Are you going to take the deal she offered, or should we try and negotiate for something else?
We'll leave. This is a creature that can be negotiated with. So we take the deal.
I just, guess don't say much after that. But at least it's not a cost we've got to pay now, you know.
Indeed.
Okay, you know, we fly for 2 days in probably like, I would say, not awkward silence. I'm sure words are spoken, but it's like there's something hanging over us. And I think Emmerich feels dread as we start, you know, as we see the coastline of Bravo in the distance, and we start to fly closer and closer to those islands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a large, heavy storm always over Bravo. Maybe not every day. Well, every day for a part of the day, not all day. But you've arrived during one of these stormy periods in the morning. You can make your way to the far side of the island, and Shine will dip below the clouds occasionally, looking for the spot on the mountain, not wanting to hang out below the clouds most of the time because there's lightning down there. She's not immune to lightning. But eventually she'll come and dip down, see where Atropos' lair is, remembering this section of mountain, take one final ascent above the clouds, grip a side of the mountain with her claws so that there's no more wind and she can speak, careen her head looking straight back at you from in front, because dragons can turn their heads around 180 degrees to talk to people on their backs. It's definitely a thing. And ask, "Are you sure? We're here."
If we're here, I'll just hop off and I'll climb up, or go where I need to go to enter the thing.
All right.
Yeah.
And she'll dip below the clouds. Well, yeah, same plan as last time. Emmerich, you fly off.
Yeah,
you
sure.
Spider
I'll
climb
fly.
him.
Yeah.
I prefer to wait outside if it's all the same to you.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Done.
I will hover outside the lair until Tyrrell gets there, rather than go in. In fact, I think I like come and accompany him as he's climbing down, you know, like floating down next to him, and I say, you know, when all's said and done with Scoria, King Gilda, perhaps we could find his firstborn. Maybe you can settle the debt another way.
I shake my head. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Alright, I wait for Tyrrell to climb in and then I float in behind him.
In the party goes. It's dark and storming outside, but it's still, you know, the daylight shines through enough that you can see the insides of the cave. There is Atropos at the back, smiling. She leans forward, wafts vapors towards her face. Ah, yes, they've come back. I knew he would come back. I can see the future, you know.
You wouldn't be much of a seer if you couldn't. Tell me the exact terms of this deal.
One day, Tyrael McGarry, she says, not quite looking at you, but slightly off to the side. One day, you will bear a son or a daughter, your firstborn child, of which there may be many, or may not. But your first one is mine.
I nod and shake my head and shrug my shoulders. It's as fine a deal as any. What item do you have for us to travel the plains?
I need you to come and shake my hand on that deal. She reaches out her long fingernailed hand, those knotty, gnarled, wrinkly knuckles.
Yeah, I'll take a few steps forward. I'll extend my hand.
Her grip is uncomfortably strong for a frail old woman. She shakes her hand a couple times. Her gloves keep you from actually touching her skin, thankfully. And when it's done, she cackles and smiles and says, "Ah, excellent, excellent. I can give you your planar manipulator, and I will send you off in your direction, your first direction. And I will do one more favor for you, brothers McGarry. One more. I will give you a guide. A guide who will help you on your way, and who will protect you from the elements that would ordinarily rend your flesh, tear your spirit from your bones, and drive you to the brink of insanity. A guide that will aid you on your quest.
And where is this guide?
You'll meet them when I shove you through the plains with your manipulator.
You're gonna teach me how this manipulator works? Am I gonna be able to use this later on?
Of course, of course. Did you bring me something to eat?
No, we didn't bring you anything more to eat. I think we've feasted enough.
You already shook on the deal.
Oh, I did. Are you ready?
How long is this gonna take? In human years or in time on this plane?
What?
Whatever
How
we're
long
about to
will-
do. We have a friend outside. We're not gonna leave her waiting for days.
I don't know how long your journey will take you. There are many variables, and the path before you is uncertain. But time it will take. Planes will be traveled. Your friend waiting outside. She pauses and leans forward and kind of gets really low to the ground and does like a couple of short, like sniffing as if trying to test the quality of the smell. Comes back and says, "Your friend will not be here when you return. But you won't return here. I'm sure you'll find your way home somehow. But let me be clear with you. This item, this manipulator I give you, it'll allow you to travel to any plane but once. Whenever you leave a plane, this item will not permit you to return to it. So you cannot come home until you are home for good." Are you ready?
What a worthless item. Can we go outside and grab our dragon friend?
No, she will not go. She will not work with this. She's... Nashimura kind of seethes for a moment and shakes her head. Not her.
Well, I suppose I might as well go outside and send her home then, if that's the case. Where are we going to appear when we come back here? Actually, you know what?
Does it matter?
I looked at Emmerich amulet. No, it doesn't. I'll be back. Give me a moment. I'll go to the entrance of the cave and I'll shout out to Shine and I'll say, "Shine, we're going to take some interdimensional trip. We'll meet you back at the capital, hopefully tonight or tomorrow, or never, who knows. But we'll be back as soon as we can." Agreed?
Are you sure, Tyrael?
There's not much else we can do.
She releases her grip from the stone wall, lets herself fall for a moment before spreading her wings and taking off.
As she
climbing.
takes off, I'll shout out to her. I was like, if anything happens to us or befalls us, obviously your service transfers to the Queen of the Kingdom. Good luck.
She cries in acknowledgement.
Yeah. I'll look back to Emmerich and then back to the seer.
Let's do another one of these brief flash forwards, Tyrael, to another time in the distant future. And similar to Emmerich's, the exact form that this will take might vary, but for the sake of scene setting, you're in your castle. Your castle. You're in the birthing room. Your lord wife is there on the bed, a cleric of Martha before her, between her legs, ready to catch your firstborn child. Outside, just like this day in this cave, there is a storm raging. You can hear the rolling thunder. You can see the splits of lightning. And it's been a long time. Scoria has come and gone. Many battles have been fought. You have positioned yourself at the head of a mighty empire. And this deal with Atropos seems distant, and yet you remember it. There comes a knock at the door. One of your guards, undoubtedly. I assume you answer it.
Oh,
during
yeah, I
the
thought you were
birthing
just talking...
process,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Well, the actual story is I'm just fucking a random hooker, and I'm gonna see if that child gets abducted, but we'll do this one. But anyway, the guard comes to the door. Of course I answer it, yeah.
Yeah, and he tells you that outside the gate there are 4 people dressed head to toe in dark robes, cannot see skin color, cannot see species, cannot tell anything about them, and they have set all the dogs and horses amok. They've called asking for you.
Yeah?
Should we let them in?
I mean, I
They seem monstrous, but you know things that I don't.
imagine if it's what I think it is, then yeah, you'd have to, yeah?
They shut the door. Your wife screams in the labor pains as the clerics and the accompanying people say, "Keep breathing, sweetie, keep breathing. Big breath now, big push now." A few minutes pass. How are you feeling at this moment in time? How would your future character be feeling? Your queen on the bed, giving birth to your firstborn.
I mean, I feel like if this is happening, I feel like either one, it would have been a random prostitute I would have had sex with, maybe. Or 2, would have been a conversation I probably would have had in advance.
She would know this ahead of time then. Because if you've been trying to knock up hookers, it hasn't been working.
Okay. Then this would have been a conversation I would have had in advance then with my wife. That it's a
Excellent.
possibility.
Right. That would be the queen's daughter. That this is a... Let's quickly revisit that possibility then, that scene, when you would have not been a dark and stormy day. What day would you have this conversation with her? Is this like after you get married, before you get married?
Probably be after, and then it'd be in some night.
When she's pregnant, before she's pregnant?
Probably before.
Where would you talk to her about this? Because this is like a relationship, serious relationship conversation. Well,
it's not like she
Where
could
are you?
leave. Okay, let's be real. I don't know. We'd be probably in our room, and I would just bring it up. I'd say I made a great many deals, great many sacrifices to get to where I was today, and one of those might involve our future child. Anything's possible.
What does that mean? Have you squired them or promised their hand in marriage?
I might have promised them to a demigod that crawls along a cave and breathes in vapors. Or maybe not.
What do you mean?
Some things it's better for you not to know the details of, but we're not where we were by accident. It took a lot to get here. I'll just say that much.
I know. She has like a dark look on her face. The costs have been immeasurable. And our potential future child is one of those costs?
Potentially, but just the first one. We can have many more.
Is there anything else? What is the material? Tell me. I am your consort. We are in all things together.
What else do you need to know?
I need to know what it means.
It means that on the night that our first child is born, it might be the case that the child is taken from us. I'm not sure yet.
Will we see it again?
I have no idea. I truly don't know. It was a malevolent creature that I dealt with.
And you promised it your firstborn.
Unfortunately, that was the cost for defeating Scoria.
She understands. And unless you bring it up, the topic is never talked about again.
Good.
Until the night with the storms and the men at the door who come on into the castle, dressed head to toe in like folding dark robes that make it impossible to see who or what they are. They stand with the guard, shaken and ashen at your birthing room door. As outside, the rain and the lightning. Inside, the cleric of Martha, goddess of life and creation, helps deliver your firstborn child, who is a baby boy. And as the final screams of birthing pains come through, the dark-robed figures sort of enter the room. Your wife screams once to the birthing mother, the midwife, to let her hold her son at least once. The midwife looks to who these people are fucking coming in the room and says, "Lord Tyrael, please, this is a sacred moment. Send these people away. Surely this is not important."
Can I ask a question before anything happens?
Yes.
I'm sure
Yes.
we've read stories or heard myths or rumors as the gods apparently walk among us. What are the fate of men that try to trick gods?
Some people get away with it. Some people suffer horrible ends.
That
Is
doesn't.
this a moment where you would attempt to trick someone?
To come this far and then fuck up? No, probably not. Well, man, if we've come this far, theoretically, we would have slain Scoria, the mightiest creature. What does Scoria's power stack up? Like Scoria demigods?
It's just not as strong as a demigod.
Is the weakest demigod stronger
Oh.
than Scoria? What?
Oh no, the weakest demigod's super weak. Weakest demigod is like, first level fighter.
Just curious, looking ahead to this future, do I feel like a level 17 rogue? If I'm 15 now, how strong am I feeling?
If you're 15 now, you feel like you're at least 16. Probably 17. Hell, you might even be level 18 by the time this is
Maybe.
all done.
I might
Yeah.
be level 18.
Yeah.
How many years into the future is this?
Who knows?
Okay, a few years. I've spent a lifetime then. I've spent years studying and reading tales about Atropos. What information do I gather?
Very little.
Nothing? No tales of any human consorting with or interacting with? Nothing of her cutting deals, anything like that?
She seems not to be in many history books. The only things you hear are the occasional words that once upon a time there was a great wizard in Bravo who studied under a timeless witch with dark appetites, and maybe, a reference here or there, but nothing more than just like a name that's a footnote in a passage. Then this might be, 6 months down the line that this moment transpires. This might be 3 years down the line that moment transpires. It's hard to know how much information you would have had ahead of time. And this moment that we're playing out is a theoretical moment.
A theoretical
Maybe not the
moment,
actual
subject to
one
change.
that comes to pass.
Yeah?
Yeah. But
Okay,
just
subject
a
to
flavor of
theoretical flavor of it. I am a master of poisons at this point. I would have given my wife a vial of a slow-acting poison that would put to sleep and kill somebody within a matter of hours or days, maybe. And I'd have her feed it to the baby before handing it off to these fucking freaks. That's what I would do.
So as they stand in your doorway and your wife begs the cleric of Martha to hand her newborn babe, it's your job to delay these dark creatures enough that your wife can feed the babe its poison.
Yeah.
How do you delay these dark creatures?
I would take my time walking to the door, checking who it is, verifying the identity, asking for identification, realizing... Or go ahead.
They stand there, hoods over their faces, impossibly magically shrouded on the inside to reveal no details of who or what they are. robes longer, sleeves longer than their hands.
Yeah, I'll take a moment. I'll call up some guards, have them come to the door, slowly
Yeah,
make them open
they
it.
were
Yeah.
escorted by a guard to get here, and the guard is like pale and ashen,
Mm-hmm.
shaking slightly.
Yeah, I'll slowly let them in, but I'll take my time. Hopefully they have enough time to figure out their thing, yeah.
Okay. Just sort of like a very physically slow process.
Yeah, just like dragging my feet, yeah.
You know, after the cleric of Martha hands over the new child, umbilical cord still attached, she storms over to these creatures. How dare you enter this sacred room at this hour? Do you know what's going on here? And then she looks at you, Tyrael. What is this?
It's better for you to not even know. I couldn't even begin to explain it to you.
One of them says in a low voice, "It's time. Hand me the child."
We... do I hear any crying yet? Are we in the room yet? Or
Oh,
we,
yeah,
are we-
there's crying.
Oh.
Yeah. You're in the room, there is crying.
Then I assume that the babies are... I mean, I would look to my wife for a knowing nod.
She gives you a single nod and kisses the child on the forehead.
Yep, I'd grab
Cuts the umbilical cord, and it's herself.
I'd grab the child and I'd give it to the I'd give it to one of the four. Yeah.
The cleric of Martha, her jaw drops, aghast. What? She looks around the room. What? Someone say something! This is madness!
This is my child.
The
You've
four
been-
figures begin to retreat. Go ahead.
Yeah, you've been brought here to help with the delivery. We appreciate you for that. I mean, a cleric of Martha lecturing me on my life or passing judgment on me. I think that's for your God to do.
She returns to your wife to talk to her and console her as the four figures retreat through the castle. And that's good enough for me.
Imric
People will say
watches
the child
from a
was
balcony
stillborn.
as the figures walk off with his nephew.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Imric's not there, though, actually. He was killed by collapsing rocks in the cave when we went to fight Scoria, and he couldn't get out in time before suffocating.
My greatest enemy, no!
He was one round away from suffocating beneath the rocks when he opened a bag of holding and put one inside the other to see what would happen.
All right.
Good one.
Back in the lair of Atropos on Bravo. You've dismissed Shine. She's fled. She promises to follow after your family if you all fail to come back. Imric, you accompanied him to the edge of the cave?
Yes, not so as not to be standing alone with Atropos.
Yeah. The two of you return to the cave, to the vapors.
I fill up some empty vials with vapors before I go. Like say 3. I'll say 3. That's
3
good.
vials of vapors. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, my dear princes. Are you ready? I need you to lay down on either side of my crevice. Put your heads in and smell. Rest your heads close to me. I'll need to hold you there to send you off.
Well,
Gives her
lay
a nod.
down. We do as
Yeah.
she asks, yeah.
Yeah. She rests her fingers on your scalp, pushes your heads close enough to the crevice that leads right up to between her knees, and makes sure, waits to feel you breathing in enough that she's convinced you've inhaled of the vapors. And you will begin to sort of swoon, and your vision will blur, and it feels like you are sort of falling still in a place that you cannot go. And I think that's the end of our session for the day.
Wow.
Right. Into plane of travel. You thought Glacier was far away.
Well, I guess that's it.
Are we back with a meeting next week, Neil, or is it going to be a while?
You will meet a guide MrMouton will play your guide.
Oh, cool. All right.
Okay. Next week we kind of don't have an episode because we just did it this week on the 28th.
Yeah.
Then the next week will be on the 4th. Will be the next episode, which I think will be the normal time.
Yes.
August 4th.
Yes, I am out of town starting on like the 23rd of August for like 3 weeks.
Jesus Christ, where are you going?
Maybe 3.5 weeks, Nevada.
Burning Man.
Burning Man is 3
Right.
weeks.
It is when
1
you go
week.
hard.
Koibu's
obviously 1 week, but you
going
need
to
2
another
weeks to
plane.
recover.
It's a 2-day drive
I don't know if he's gonna make it
each
back.
direction.
Mutant saying he can't do the 4th.
Um,
Fuck, well we can't fucking wait like a month and a half to play
a
again.
month and a half. Oh no.
We'll work something out.
We could do 11 and 18 or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll work it out.
Yeah.
It'll be a while.
You could play the guide now.
We'll figure something out.
No.
Real quick, for Koibu, do the gods view Atropos and strong entities like dragons as abominations, failed creations, or interesting additions to the prime material plane?
I guess that really depends on the thing that they're viewing.
For
Right?
Nick-
I mean, maybe
don't
it's an
know.
abomination. Maybe it's an addition. It all depends on the things.
For Nick, if you're going to sacrifice one baby, don't stop at one. You're already a monster. This woman makes every dragon you have encountered so far look like babies. If she has been alive since before the beginning of the world, she has so much lore, and I guess if you feed her enough babies, maybe she'll lead you to somewhere where actual good loot is. That's supposed to be a question, but that's not a question.
I was hoping I was going to wake up with that coveted +1 intelligence. Like the only way she can teach me the spell. 'Cause it's
Oh,
third
it's to
level,
make you
like,
smarter.
Give me +1 int. But never mind, you know.
All right. Well, I guess
Make
we'll
it to
see you
the devil.
guys in kind of like a week and a half. Yeah.
Yep. We'll work
On the
something out.
4th. Yeah? No, the 8th.
Next we can't play the 4th.
Yeah.
The 8th's
Yeah.
my birthday, so I can't do the 8th.
We'll figure something out.
Oh wait, well that's a Monday. No,
Yeah.
maybe I can't.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, not 8th. Yeah, 11th. Yeah. Okay.
We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.